Welcome once again. We've had a week off and now we're back. So welcome to the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Tim.
I'm Dave.
So we've got a special guest with us here tonight, a semi-regular of ours now in T1000. We call him to keep the two teams separate. And we're here to do another episode after a week off, like I was saying before. So tonight we're going to be talking about the latest from 12 Foot Ninja, Dream Theater, and bloody hell, Nestor. That's the name. Sorry. We're going to do a blind draft on our 5 favorite live albums coming up soon. Got some hot topics and, well, not hot topics, some hard rock happenings to get through with some singles and a bit of a discussion point. We'll get into all those little bits and pieces in just a minute. There's plenty to go through, but before we get stuck into things, let's do the round. So T1000, how are you going? Been a little while.
Good, really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, same old stuff, chilling out at home on the weekend, waiting for this curfew to lift, but it's been good. No, it's been good.
Beautiful. And Tim, how about you? I know you've had a big weekend.
Yeah, a bit dusty at the moment, but it's been awesome, man. Like it's been good to get out and see people again, and everyone's been in a real good mood the past few days. It feels like a weight's been lifted off everyone's shoulders, so more of the same.
Yep. Beautiful. And you, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I'm good. My son went back to school last week, and my daughter goes back tomorrow. We've got some good news. Her camp is going to go ahead, so her first week away from home, so that's good news. So that's good. In the spirit of October Halloween, I've been watching lots of horror movies. Saw Halloween Kills, which I thought was fucking great. Can't understand that a lot of people are slamming it in the reviews, but I think it's fantastic. And that's all that matters. Been doing some horror binges, 2 or 3 movies a night, falling asleep on the couch, drunk. It's all good. Life is good.
Yep. Cool. I'll get to the comments in a second. So thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. But yeah, everything's good at mine. As well, we had our first guests in months yesterday. My brother and his better half came over. So hi to Greg and Beth if you're tuning in. And also had a lengthy phone chat with someone I haven't spoken to for a while as well. So I've had a good sort of social weekend, and then you're sort of back to the grind on the Monday. But it's funny how refreshing it is to, like, it's weird to have people over. I'll say that, but it's also refreshing to have that bit of normalcy back before you go back to the grind on the Monday again. So it's a bit of an interesting one there. I don't know, but it's. Everything's good. It's actually a good feeling that we're sort of getting to the end of it, and we know that this weekend coming up is going to be even bigger again with the long weekend. So good times all around. So looking forward to everything going on. In the comments here, Sally's gone, hey guys, so thank you for joining us. Another regular nudes, he's gone, lads, so thank you for joining us as well. Good to see you. Nikki, you cheeky minx, you haven't jumped in, so you're going to go into the comments and say hello to us there. Sumaleth over on YouTube is going 2 albums I'm seriously thinking of buying this week. So thank you for joining us over on YouTube. And just to put the boot in, let's make this one public. So Nikki's gone, happy birthday T1000. So it was your birthday the other day. So we're going to embarrass you on the record and say happy birthday to you here with us tonight. What else we got here? So David, a good friend of ours, David's gone, hey guys, so good to see you here yet again. Another regular, Dean Whedon. Hey lads, hope all is well. Bit of a different setting, Dave. So there we go.
I'm outside.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to keep it quiet so you girl can get to sleep.
Yeah.
Because what do you say in the chat? You say you can't be quiet basically when you're out here with us?
Yeah, because I'm like one room away, and I tend to get louder the longer these go on. Yeah. Especially the special episode taping, because we film for like 3 hours to do a 2-hour special, so I'm fucking wasted by those.
There we go. And then Tom over on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Hey guys, new fan from the US. Well, thank you for joining us. Good to have some new faces. Love having new people joining us, especially from overseas. So shout out to you for tuning in. Awesome. Nikki's gone, Dave 3, new setting. Ooh, yes, cool. Dean's gone, love the t-shirt, great band. Say that on band anymore. Yes, Idle Fret were a fantastic live band. The album was good as well. Too bad they're not around, but they are good guys and they're all keeping well from everything I know. Dean's asked an interesting point here in how does everyone feel about the new song from Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators? We'll get to that in a moment. That is part of the conversations tonight. Nikki's gone in reply to me, cheeky minx. Oh, says the sassy bastard to me. So there we go. with that one. All right, so before we get stuck into things, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, comment, get involved. Even if you like and share, or just leave us a comment as we go along tonight with your thoughts and all that sort of stuff. That helps us get the word out about these little streams. And like I was saying, make sure you follow on your particular favorite social media. Everything you need to know is in the details, or details-wise, is in the post or the description of this, wherever you're tuning into this from. And while you're there, please check out our fantastic sponsors in Squid Ink Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Big thank you to them for their support, and you can find them and follow them via the links in the post as well. If you want to help us out, check out our Patreon page. We're going to be doing a big drive on that very, very soon. But the big one for now is if you can spare a gold coin a month, so a couple of bucks, Aussie, then jump in and you'll end up getting like a daily newsletter thing, which ends up giving you something like 50 new pieces of music or information a week. So TC, you've been slammed with that after I started introducing that. How have you been finding that little update that comes through daily on the Patreon page?
Yeah, it's good. A lot of bands I've never heard of. So some new music.
Yep. So yeah, if you want to get a sneak peek into what we do here, get some insight, get to vote on classic albums that we review every week, and check out some new music, well then yeah, jump into that one. It's just a couple of bucks a month to give us a bit of a hand there. Conrad's gone, thanks for your time today. Yeah, it was good catching up and having the meeting there, so thank you for that. And Nikki's gone, what is on behind Tim? The screen behind Tim, what's on your screen there?
It's an Xbox save screen.
That could have been a lot worse.
What's the save? What are you playing?
I'm playing The Show, which is a baseball game.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. So you're still on that one?
Yeah, man.
Cool.
It's a good game. It's a real good game.
Yeah. I haven't got that. I've only got the Switch. The kids and Jody have the PlayStations. I've only got the Switch, so I don't even know there is a baseball game on the Switch, but I don't know. But anyway.
Probably is.
I'd say so. Probably like the old Wii thing. I don't know. Conrad's gone, don't lie, it's porn. So that's porn save screen. I don't know. We'll see what happens in that regard.
Well,
and well,
if it was, I'd tell you.
Yeah, this is true. And Nikki's also jumped in saying, yes, jump on Patreon. It's the best. So thank you for the shout out there as well. All right. Let's have some fun. Before let's get to the Hard Rock happenings and get stuck into things. So let's do the first one, which is the one that was already foreshadowed, I guess, basically. I'll put it's in the post. There's a link to this one that's now in the comments as well. There's a little link there to the new track from Slash featuring Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators, which is the song The River Is Rising, which is a little live video as well. So new Slash is coming out. There's an album, I think, due, February next year, I believe, coming out, yeah. And we'll get some feedback on this. So if you've checked it out, or if you're going to check it out now, then give us your thoughts after you've done so, or give us your thoughts now, whatever. But let's do the rounds on what we think of this one. So TC, let's go to you first. What do you make of this one? You a fan in general, or what do you think of this song?
Not a huge fan, but I like them both. But so I gave it a bit of a listen this afternoon. It's pretty much what I expected it to sound like. You could hear that distinct Slash guitar tone as soon as it started, and Myles' voice was very recognisable. But it was a pretty cool track actually. It was pretty catchy. I didn't mind it. So, but I've not been a huge fan like diehard, but I still like their music. I don't know. I just never really got into them heavily. But it was a good track. It was quite a cool track. I liked it. Yeah.
Nice. All right. Cool. And Tim down the bottom there, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I quite like this track as well. It's a great choice for a lead single. It's a nice riff. Chorus opens up really nicely. There's a nice little guitar melody behind it as well. So it's a good track for it to lead off, to be a lead off single. And I'm looking forward to listening to the album when it comes out.
Yep. Cool. And Dave, we've had a bit of banter behind the scenes between this and the Guns N' Roses stuff that are coming out. There's a comment that I'll get to in a second, but what do you think of this one?
Oh, I hate it. I think it's fucking terrible. I'm gushing, man. This song sounds fucking fantastic. Slash, as always, is brilliant. And that intro with that trill, I mean, it's 2021. Everything has been done, but he still manages to come out with something that sounds distinctly Slash and distinctly unique. You hear that song, you're just like, okay, cool, that's The River Is Rising. Myles sounds great, as expected. I love the live feel to it. I mean, they recorded the whole album in just a live setting, and there's 10 tracks. I think it's going to be a very basic rock and roll album. He doesn't really write long songs. You get the occasional 6-minute one in previous solo albums, but I think this would be the shortest solo album he's ever done, usually 14, 15, 16 tracks in some cases. This is 10 tracks. They're not going to be very long. It'll be about 40 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. So all live setting, and I'm really excited to hear about it when it comes out next year. So cool track, cool song.
Well, the bar is pretty high with Slash and Myles because for me, they usually, whenever they drop an album, it usually winds up becoming a top 10 release every time they do it for that year. But this time around, I like it. I like that on the other ones, they've been really heavily studio-based. And you can tell that's not a bad thing. It's just a studio rock album sound they've got, and it's always very distinctive. I like they've switched up and gone for the live recording vibe, and the video suits that as well. It's basically a simple little performance clip. But like it's been said before, when you get Slash and Myles, you know who exactly you're getting as soon as you hear it, and you know what you're getting because they deliver every single time. I think the chemistry between those two is pretty much second to none. I think it's really, really good. And the longer they keep doing things, the happier I'm going to be. They're fantastic live as well. So if they're recording these songs live and they can finally get to tour them out here in the not too distant future, then I'll be definitely going to see it live because, if this is a taste of the album overall, well, then we're in for another good treat. I just like that the switch is that it's a live vibe, which is something they haven't done with this lineup before. And I'm very much looking forward to hearing what they do with that as the backdrop to it all. So very excited, very happy, and we'll see what happens with the new album in Feb. Tom's gone. This is the comment I was referencing, Dave. I think the new Slash sounds great. It's better than either of the quote-unquote new Guns N' Roses songs. So,
I'll agree with that.
You'll agree with that? Okay, cool. All right. So, snap poll. Dave agrees. So, Tim, do you agree with that as well?
Definitely.
Yep. And Tim?
I'd agree with that as well. Better than the new Guns N' Roses songs for sure.
Yeah. I know that there's the EP coming out old school, and I think that's early next year as well. And the two new quote unquote new tracks and 2 live tracks, I think, is at the same time. So that's coming out soon. But yeah, I'm if I'm going to pick which one I'm more excited about, I'm probably going to be much more excited about the album if I'm going to be blunt here as well. Let's do the usual now though, and do the typical gear change, which we always do. And let's move on to Arch Enemy. Dean, I see your comment. I'll get to that in a second. But Arch Enemy have dropped a new single, Deceiver. It's in the description now. It's in the post, in the comments. So, check it all out and do that while I go through a couple of the comments here as well. But we'll get to that new single in just a moment. Dean said, love this song. Slash wanted that live setting was recorded in 5 days. Everyone was in the same room and mistakes were on the album as well. Was recording at the same studio and producer Dave Cobb as last Airborne album. Okay, very cool. That's a nice little touch there. Thank you for the info there. Dean's very researched on the bands that he loves to death, so do appreciate the chop out with the info there. And Conrad said, seen Myles with Slash many times now, always phenomenal live, always really solid, flawless live every time. This sounds rather decent, badass to say the least. So there we go. Some more positive feedback there. But yeah, if you've seen them live, you know they're going to pull it off. So having a live album or live studio album is going to be very easy for them to pull off. But like I was saying, time for a gear change. Let's go to Arch Enemy, Deceiver, which is the new single from them. It's just a standalone single. No word on an album per se yet that I know of anyway. If anyone else knows different, then please let me know. But let's go to our Tim first on this one because it's more your traditional wheelhouse. So let's start with you. What do you think of this one?
Oh, man. So this song is in like 3 parts. There's the first part, which kicks ass. And then there's this wonderful breakdown that just crushes. And I can see myself just beating people up in a pit. And then, like, Jeff Loomis brings it home.
Yep.
This song is fucking glorious. It is absolutely good. Bands like Arch Enemy don't get the credit they deserve. Because, I mean, like, so many newer metal bands just ripped off Swedish death metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, this is a fucking outstanding track.
Yeah.
If you're anything into this kind of music, then please check it out.
Definitely. All right, T1000. What about you? Are you a big fan of the band in general, or?
No, not only because I haven't listened to them, but this really surprised me actually. like Tim said, the way it kicks off is just bang in your face. I really love the music. Vocals. Look, for me with that kind of music, that kind of style of music, once I can't understand the vocals, I kind of lose interest a little bit in it. And this one's right on the edge, but I could understand what she was singing. It's got that middle section where it sort of slows down the tempo and then it goes again really hard at the end. And it reminded me a lot of those kind of German thrash bands like Creator and Destruction, or not Destruction, but Creator and a few of those bands, Sodom and that had that right to the edge, guttural, heavier vocals with the thrash music. But I actually quite liked it. I might have to check out a bit more of them. That was pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Nice. And Dave, what about you?
Yeah, I've never heard much of their stuff, but what I have heard I liked, and this one was actually probably the best thing I've heard from them. It's fast, heavy, melodic, as you would expect in this band, but it's structured, as I think Tim mentions. You got 3 sections, and when those tempo changes just go really quickly and that solo kicks in, it's like, fuck me. That was very, very cool. Vocally, she scares me because I'm not sure what to say. She might want to rip my head off, but it's impressive, I've got to say. And yeah, she's got a very powerful voice. I'm in the same boat as T1000 when I can't understand or make out most of what they're saying. It does lose my focus a little bit, but there's enough going on musically to make up for that with this one. So yeah, if they're, I'm not sure how similar or different this is to previous stuff that they've done, but if the next album is anything like this, I'll definitely be giving it a listen.
Cool. Our Tim, I don't know, where does this sort of sit for you in regard to their back catalogues? So you probably listen to more of it than I have.
Well, they are a phenomenal band, and I mean they don't really release many dud tracks, but I mean if you're after the vocals, she's much easier to understand than the previous singer.
Yeah,
Angela was much more lower.
Mm-hmm.
But like they're both great.
Yeah. I like Alyssa's tone and how the lyrics cut through. So for me, I don't know if it's because of Tim's torture choices that I'm getting much better at listening to this sort of music and picking things up. I've made that on the record a few times now, but I like how her delivery and the pitch she has makes it very clear to make out the lyrics for me these days. Anyway, I didn't struggle with this at all. I actually really liked the story of the song too. It's got a bit of bite, this one, in the lyrical matter and stuff. So it was very well done, and that intensity and the story combined with the music being broken up into the 3-part composition piece there was really impressive. And it's actually got that bit of a groove and a hook in it too, which I didn't really expect it to have. And that's pretty impressive for this style of music. Yeah, I really did enjoy what I heard out of that one, probably more than I honestly thought at all. Because when I picked it up, I was like, okay, well, I've not been hit and miss, just it's good, but I've never sort of really delved in deeply into the band. But this time around, it's like, okay, much more curious on the back of that one.
Well, Jeff Loomis is their lead guitar player now.
Yeah.
From Nevermore.
Nevermore's fucking great.
Yeah, so I mean, there's talented dudes in that band.
Yeah. It was funny going through the YouTube comments, actually, because everyone's going, we need Jeff Loomis to play more. And it's like, okay. So we'll see what happens in that space. But yeah, no, I was very happy with it too. So we're going, it's universal so far tonight. Not many disagreements happening yet. We'll get to those later on, I'm sure. But first of all, Darren's gone, not familiar with Arch Enemy, but Deceiver is a damn good song. Plus the singer Growler is pretty hot. Yes, that's never a bad thing either. And Conrad has said, this sounds rather brutal to say the least. Love the drumming. Drummer steals the show for me on this song. And that was pretty cool. Yeah, the drumming on that song is definitely worth your time. All right. I said we do gear changes. So for those who don't know, that's what you're getting. We're going to give you another one right now with the next song as well. So it's in the post. It's in the comments. Take your pick. Hit the link and check it out. This is Striker with Deathwish, their new single. They caused a bit of a fuss recently when they put up the headstone with the dates on it, and everyone thought the band was over. And I think I put into the Patreon updates that, I didn't think it was going to be that. I thought it was a very clever little marketing idea, and it turns out that that's the case. I've dropped a brand new single. There's more music on the way, and let's see how we go with this one. So, Dave, we've reviewed this one in the past. I think we've done a couple of their albums. You've done a couple of them as well, haven't you? I think by now. Yeah. So how does this one stack up for you?
Oh, this band's fucking great. And I got to say, that whole end of the band picture that they put up, all that speculation, that got so much fucking traction on their socials. So it's a great way to just quickly go, okay, we're done. No, we're not. We're going new single. Very cool. But hearing the song, oh, man, it's great band, lots of energy, very melodic. It'd be a lot of fun live. You got that intro, and then in the background, you got the backup vocals going yeah or hey, but you just perfect setting to get the whole crowd involved. And if you like fun, upbeat, enjoyable, melodic rock and roll, heavy metal, then definitely check this band out. I mean, they got an image and then they got their name, but their music is a little bit different. It's a bit deceiving. You might get one perception, and then when you hear them, you get something completely else. But no, I think they're seriously underrated. I think a lot more people should be giving this band a listen. But yeah, and this was a good place to start.
Yeah, cool. All right, our Tim, how did you go with this one by comparison to Arch Enemy?
Look, Striker are a good band, man.
Yeah.
And as Dave said, that death end of the band thing, and then a single called Deathwish is fucking brilliant.
Yep.
Using social media properly. But I mean, look, Striker, again, as Dave said, massively underrated. And I mean, it's a catchy riff with a catchy chorus, but it's also got a nice little bit of edge to it as well. So again, if this is, I'm assuming this is leading into an album, yeah?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, so looking forward to it again, because more people should be onto this band, because there are a few bands that are there are a lot of bands that play this kind of style, but I think Striker do it better than most.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, one of their albums a couple of years ago was a top 10 for a few of us, so they've done pretty well in the past. T1000, how'd you go?
Yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah.
I've been following these guys from the start, but they're not the same band they were when they started out. When they started out, they were much more traditional, old-school metal, like anything else, and they've just kind of progressed into this more melodic rock sound. And this song just nails it. This song's fantastic. The last album was very melodic, but this one's really catchy. I really enjoyed this song. They've really progressed, right through to that melodic rock with not just, but with metal too. I've got a perfect mix for it. They sound great. I love everything about this band. They're fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing if they bring out a new album soon, because this is a great song.
Yeah, well, I think they're overdue, because their general record is about every 2 years, 2.5 years. They tend to drop an album, and so they're overdue now in the usual scheme of things. So that's why I was when they dropped the Headstone thing, I was like, hang on, 2 weeks ago they announced themselves as a co-headliner on a tour over in Canada, and so I was like, yeah, this isn't quite the end, I don't think. And to drop the new single was very clever marketing, so well done on that side. But the song has to back it up, and it absolutely does. The hook in this is fucking phenomenal. So, the riff is there. Like, for all the talk about, being catchy, melodic and stuff, this has some serious fucking balls too, though. Don't underestimate the riff on this song and the guitar work in general. I love the energy these guys bring. It's just a bit more melodic, that's all. And it's sort of that, I like the 80s touch that has sort of crept into their sound over the albums that they've done. And for me, it's a bit of a lot of bands try to do this. Very few do it very well, and these guys are one of the best at it. And so well done to them, what they've done so far. And if this is an indication of what's to come, this single alone, catchy as all fuck. So yeah, get around it and check it out and let us know what you think. But this is 4 from 4 from 4. So we've got, 12 pages of agreement, which is fucking rare as all shit, but we'll see how we go with the next part in just a second. But yeah, there's some good tracks there. So check out the latest from Slash, Arch Enemy, and Striker. Give us your thoughts as we go along. And if you're not tuning in live, then feel free to jump in the comments later as well to give us your thoughts. We always appreciate it whenever you do decide to do that. Speaking of comments, Christy, good to see you here on Christy. Thank you for joining us on Facebook tonight. She's gone, love Arch Enemy, so good. So there we go. Hopefully more music for you very soon in that regard. All right. So the discussion piece for tonight, before we get into a blind draft, which will get the fireworks going, I'm pretty sure. But the conversation for tonight is going through some news feeds, and something I thought was a bit interesting was how James LaBrie was apparently offered a shot at taking Bruce Dickinson's spot in Iron Maiden when he left, and the gig eventually went to Blaze Bayley. So that's something that's a bit of like, what? Hang on, it's only just recently sort of come to light. It wasn't a serious thing, but there was talk from management and things like that about, trying to make this all line up. So let's go to T1000 first. What do you think of that when you hear that kind of a story?
I find it odd that it's come out now so late. I mean, it's been around forever. I'm surprised it hasn't been spoken of before.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would have sounded with Iron Maiden. It's hard to tell. I mean, there was talk back in the time that Michael Kiske was going to maybe join the band as well, which would have been interesting as well. But I really don't know. I can't picture him with Iron Maiden. And look, I feel like whoever came into the band at that point was probably on a hiding to nothing anyway, so it would have been a bit of a challenge for him. But
Mm.
I don't know. I'm not a massive Dream Theater fan, so I don't know really how well he would fit with Iron Maiden. It's a tricky one, but yeah, I just find it a bit bizarre that it's only been sort of mentioned now after all these years. I would have thought I would have heard of this before. We would have called it. So it's a strange one, but yeah, I don't know.
Might be worth digging up and seeing if both bands have released albums in the same year before as each other, because this year they have. That might be why it's coming up now. I don't know. I haven't got that off the top of my head, but that'd just be an interesting little quirk, a wrinkle in it all for mine. But what about you, Tim? Your thoughts on that little nugget?
As other Tim said, no one would have picked up that gig and succeeded in it, unfortunately, as Blaze done, because Blaze is a decent singer in his own right, but he's replacing the great Bruce Dickinson. I think if Labrie turned it down, I think he may have made the right choice.
Yeah, he did turn it down.
Because I think he fits.
Focused on.
I mean, I like to rip on James Labrie a lot, but I think he fits in Dream Theater quite well, to be fair.
Yeah.
And I think he would have probably fit in Iron Maiden and in some way, because I'm sure the band would have adapted around him. We've like the classic example is Invaders at the start of is just a leftover. You can hear what's his name on that.
Bruce.
I'm sure the band would have adjusted to it. And Labrie can kind of, fit that kind of image, but yeah, interesting.
Well, Dave, you're a big fan of both bands, so what do you think?
It was surprising because I am not just a fan, I'm a Dream Theater obsessive. I have all the bootlegs, I've read just about everything I knew. I got like this biography that was an online thing, and I've never heard the story before, so it's like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But I like the X Factor. I hate Virtual 11, but X Factor's got some good songs on it. I can't imagine anybody else singing on that album but Blaze Bayley. It was a dark album. It's not your usual upbeat Iron Maiden. And Labrie can do the dark stuff, but I don't think he'd suit that. He'd sound great with Iron Maiden, but I don't think he'd suit that album. So it would have been an odd time because Steve Harris was going through a divorce and everything. His father had died during that period. Of a very dark time for Maiden. And I know Labrie can pull up Iron Maiden songs. They covered the entire Number of the Beast live. I got the CD. He actually does a really good job with Nightwish Iron Maiden songs. I got there eventually. But at the time, 95, I think it was, Dream Theater had 2 albums out with Labrie. They had Images and Words in the Wake. They were on an upward trajectory. So it would have been the bad move for him to leave a band that's not the flavour of the month, but steadily growing to coming in, filling somebody else's shoes. And as Tim said before, anybody stepping in for Bruce Dickinson has a fucking big job ahead of him. And honestly, I think the only guy that might have pulled it off because he sounds similar is Tobias Summit for Avantasia.
I think Kiski could have done it. If Kiski had gone across it, Kiski could have done it.
They would have sounded a bit too much Halloweenish. So it's interesting, but it's history now. But Labrie in Iron Maiden just blew my mind. I couldn't picture it.
Not often we get to do that, Dave. For mine, not to back over things too much, but I think technically, had it happened, he could have done it. He's got the vocal range and all that sort of stuff. He could have done it. It'd be interesting trying to hear him. You've heard it, Dave, so you can tell me or not, but I'm not sure that Labrie has the right kind of power for what's required on some of the big epic, belters that everyone likes to scream and carry on with when they go and see Iron Maiden live. He's talented. He's got a voice. He's got a range. He's, not pitch perfect, all sorts of stuff. He's a fantastic performer. But could he do those songs with the intensity required? I'm not convinced that would have been the case. So I think that he would have sung them proficiently, but that air raid siren that the songs need would have been lacking. And
doesn't have that personality.
Yeah, and he's not that guy either. So it'd be, I mean, yeah, it's been covered. Anyone who took over from Bruce Dickinson was on a hiding to nothing, no matter what. But yeah, that would have been an odd choice. Like I said, technically I'd get it, but you wouldn't feel it. If you're listening to those albums like we did when we did the special episode a little while back, it would have felt strange. They felt strange anyway, but it would have felt, yeah, like something was lacking, I think, just in the guttural feel from what Lebree does versus what Dickinson does. But interesting that it's come out now, and I think it is because they've got the new album that's just dropped, and Iron Maiden have dropped one. So, when everyone does their, social media research and they type in Iron Maiden and or Dream Theater, they're both big things. So you're going to get that story sort of working its way to the top of people's algorithms and all that sort of stuff too. So it was an interesting one. It was just an interesting little curious conversation point there. Would have been curious to say the least. I wouldn't mind hearing one song, but it'd be bizarre. Actually, that reminds me, we should do one, not now, but like, how there's that meme kicking around where members of Rolling Stones and members of the Beatles could form to make the one band? We should do like a little list of what songs I'd like to hear them cover. But anyway, we'll get to that another time. That'll be a bit of a fun one for another day. Yeah, but there we go. That's the topic there for tonight. Going back to Striker for a second, Conrad said very 80s, but still sounds fresh. A thumbs up from me. Has a Steel Dragon vibe. Yeah, the Rockstar band. So, yeah, very true. The Steel Dragon is definitely there. Darren's gone. I thought I heard the criteria for joining Iron Maiden was that it had to be an Englishman and someone who could play soccer. So that's one there.
And Tom, bonus points if you're a West Ham fan.
Yes, exactly. Bonus points for that for sure. Tom says Blaze was an awful choice. Not sure what Steve Harris was thinking. He truly let the moment overwhelm him, in my opinion. It's funny how on the live streams people agree with us, and then we get the fucking hate we cop on the reviews of those two albums with Blaze. It's such a dichotomy there in that one. But anyway, Craig Myles, thanks for joining us over on YouTube tonight. He's gone Surface Now purely to draw attention to the new Dream Theater release, and that's probably what it is. But I'm not sure who asked the question, how it came about, but there we go. Conrad said, I did see Dream Theater perform all of Number of the Beast live in London, and it was amazing, it was brilliant, but I don't know about him in Maiden. So there we go. I think that him performing it with Dream Theater as the backing band is very different to him performing in front of people like Steve Harris and the rest of the band. So there we go. Darren says, back on Striker, do you think the band logos entice and in turn turn off music listeners? Striker's logo is very death metalish. That's an interesting question. Dave, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, that's right. I said when we were talking about the song that they have their image is a bit different to what you see in their music. So yeah, you can kind of expect them to be a heavier band, but when you listen to it, like, hey, this is more 80s and more melodic. So yeah, it's presentation. So it's like that band Hell in the Club. You expect slack, and you get melodic AOR. So
they were more of a metal band when they started. The first two albums were almost like the new wave of British heavy metal style. Like it's a real throwback to the early 80s metal. And they've just completely sort of changed their tune as they've gone through. So
yeah. What about you, Tim? What do you think of logos in that regard? Can it set the table?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a fan of logos I'm a fan of bands that have logos that look like tree branches. So
yeah,
I don't mind. The harder to read, the better.
Yeah. Except in the case of Pig Destroyer, that's not that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because sometimes you get like local band gigs, and there's the band logo, and then underneath in like Comic Sans is the name of the band.
Yeah. I think the word there was comic, and I'll run with that as my opinion. But for me, it is a very death metalish logo, which does sort of contrast against the style of music. I do get that the sounds evolved. It might be an idea to evolve the logo with it. That's not the worst idea of all time, because it does give people a preconceived notion, and it can alienate or entice, depending the right or wrong kind of people that are looking for that kind of music. But it's up to them at the end of the day, whatever. It's not the end of the world ultimately, and just comes down to sort of the style of music and the merch you want to put out to go with it, basically. If you're happy with it, then you're happy with it, and fuck, when you put it on your Facebook bio, it's going to say the name anyway, so you've got your Comic Sans version online regardless. Okay. let's get onto a draft and let's piss each other off some because these ones are always fun. Okay, so the blind draft tonight is we're going to go rounds. So if you haven't watched along, let's go through this quickly. So we're going to do 5 rounds. We're going to pick an album each in those rounds. It's a blind draft, which means I've already predetermined the draft order, but it's going to be different every single round we do. And the idea here is to pick our best 5 live albums from the rock and metal world or whatever else floats your boat for that matter. So we're going to go through that. And then the rule we have for these blind drafts is that once a band is in there, it's no longer available. So the first person to pick whatever band you think of, that's the only time that band can be picked for the duration of the blind draft. So that's the idea of getting 4 very different lists of 5 from each of us. So give us your thoughts as we go along. Let us know what you would pick as your top 5 favorite live albums as well while we go along and do this little blind draft game here.
And let us know who's got the best list at the end.
That's the point there too. So I'm going to try, if you're going to hear me typing while we do this, it's me trying to keep up with what we're doing, so it's a bit easier for me later on down the line. but we'll see how we go with this one. And first cab off the rank is our Tim. So Tim, you get to kick us off. What's your first live album choice?
No Sleep Till Hammersmith by Motorhead.
Fuck you. I knew that was going. That was a given for everyone there. All right. Let's see. Which one do I want to take to piss people off with now? All right, I'm going to go with Metallica Live Ship Binge and Purge as my first choice. So that takes Metallica off the board. So now you're going to see after the first round, we're all going to start to think very quickly about our choices following this one, which means, Dave, it's over to you next. What's your first choice?
I'm claiming it. Live at the Ritz. Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I figured you would. I knew that was coming straight away. All right, T1000, your first choice.
I'm going to go with a recent one. This might piss Dave off as well, but I'm going to go with Halloween, United Alive.
Nice.
Too good. It's too good a live album. I have to have it.
It's a damn good show.
Very well done. And this is where you're going to see things are going to get stickier as we find it a bit more challenging to get through our little lists here as well.
Speaking about Slash.
Yeah, this is true. I'm not sure if people are leaving comments right now. If you are, I do apologize. I've got my my notes here, but I'll get to those as we get through it. So time for round 2, and I get to kick it off first. So I'm going to take Iron Maiden in Vivo, actually, as my...
Oh, fuck.
That's how it works, and this is where, we've got to try and balance out, because we've all got ones we don't think anyone else will pick. We want to make sure we get the ones we do want in as soon as we can get them as well. So with that said, Dave, it's over to you. What's your second choice?
Aerosmith, live bootleg.
Okay.
Such a good album. I can't believe I found that too. I went to a record fair. It was the sole thing I wanted to find. It was the first thing I found.
Nice.
The first thing I looked at. It's in mint condition too.
And to shift things around, T1000, you're next.
I'm going to go with Queensryche, Operation Live Crime.
I figured that to go off pretty quick. Well done. Yeah. Nice choice. These are all good albums. That's the thing. There's no dud choices in this at all. So, Tim, last choice for round 2.
All right, so this is my personal favorite.
Yep.
It's Jimi Hendrix live at Monterey Pop Festival.
All of Right, probably the best out of all of
them. Monterey Pop.
There we go. Cool. Well, it is that whole combination of picking your own favorite. Like we'll have bands we all like. We've probably chosen some different albums as we go through it, but the point is to taking the band off the board. So, Dave, round 3, kick it off.
No one else is going to have this. Nightwish live at Wacken. Fantastic. Yeah. Check it out on YouTube if you haven't seen it. Floor fucking smokes
it. Cool. All right, Dave's going for his more direct personal choices early in the piece now, it looks like, but now it's our old school Tim. So what have you got for us next up?
Again, this is another one of my personal favorites. It's the Who live at Leeds, 1970.
Very cool. Yep.
Good album.
I figured that'd go tonight as well. So that means that my next choice is up, and I'm gonna go with Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous.
I was literally for that.
Yeah.
That's another one gone.
So this is why you go for the ones you think other people are going to take as soon as you can get them. So when they're there, this is like a typical sports draft. All right, T1000, close out round 3 for us.
I'm going to go with Judas Priest Live from the Fuel for Life tour in '86.
Yeah.
I love that track
Yeah,
list.
that's a good choice.
Nice. So 2 rounds to go, which means 2 choices each left. We got Dave up first on this round. So what do you got?
Alice Cooper, Brutally Live on the
Yeah,
Brutal
I figured.
Play. Great comeback.
Wow, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, such a good show.
Nice. All right. Very cool. Whew, for my next choice. Oh, man. I've actually done pretty well here. I've got the choices I really wanted to get off the board. So I'm going to go with a couple of different ones to sort of throw some fun and games into this. I'm going to take Pink Floyd Pulse off the board.
Such a
I
good
love
one.
that album. Yeah, I love it. So that's an all-timer for me. I'm going to take that one while I can. TC, T1000, you're next.
All right, I'll throw something in that no one will have because it's only been out for about a week. But I've been flogging that Armored Saint Symbol of Salvation live album they just released.
Yeah,
It is awesome. So I'll put that in there.
nice. What's it called again? I forget. Sorry, mate.
Symbol of Salvation.
That's it. Yep, cool. Sorry for my typing, folks. I do apologize. I know it's annoying clacking coming through, but I haven't got another way of doing it at the moment. So, Tim, second last choice. What have you got?
Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yep. That was always going to go. All right. Last rounds. This is your final choices. So think of what you've got. You're trying to win people over while giving out a good list of your own personal choices as well. So I've got to kick off the final round. I'm going to take one that I don't think anyone else has got. So like I said, adding my own little twist for the last 2 choices. I'm going to take Rammstein Paris. For me, that band is phenomenal live, and they smoke it in that setting. So that's one you got to check out if you haven't done so already. And that leads me to old school Tim. You're up next. Your final choice.
All right. So this is the album that kickstarted his career.
Yep.
James Brown, Live at the Apollo.
Nice. Yep. Cool.
One of the greatest
Tim,
drumming albums ever made.
yes. No, it's stunning. Yes. Well, good choice there. Very good choice. For one Tim to another, what's your final choice, T1000?
I've got to go with Ozzy Osbourne Live and Loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cool. Which means, Dave, you got the caboose. You're bringing up the last one. What have you got?
This is hard. I'm like torn between 5. I had no trouble. Gotta go Dream Theater. Live things in New York. They played for 4 hours there, and Mike Portnoy did a clinic for half an hour beforehand, so he actually collapsed at the end of the show and had to be taken to the hospital. That's what I want from music, killing yourself on stage. That's
been done. Yeah. All right, so those are our rounds. Before we do wrap up and do a recap of the rounds, let's go through what people sort of had on the list, sort of kicking around as being shortlisted for themselves as well. So T1000, what was on your short list there that you had notes for?
Well, I had Iron Maiden, obviously. I was tossing up between Rock and Rio and Live After Death for that one.
Yeah.
Couldn't decide. I was tempted to chuck in Alice in Chains Unplugged. I wasn't sure if it would count as a live album, so I kind of left it, but I love that album. So, and look, you know, the Big Four DVD that I put out all those years ago, that's fantastic. So I had that on there as well. I thought somebody might pick that, but they're probably the 2 or 3 main ones I thought might get taken.
Yep, cool. And other Tim, what did you What do you have on your list there?
I also had Live After Death.
Yep.
I actually had S&M 2 for the Metallica album.
Yeah. I haven't seen
that.
that.
That was really good.
Mm.
I had I had Kiss Alive 3 actually.
Oh, wow.
I figured somebody would take it.
That
I figured that's actually a good introduction to the band.
I'm surprised Kiss didn't get taken off the board tonight. I'm really surprised.
Especially because it's a well recorded album, and it's all that's probably, if there was a greatest hits for Kiss, that'd be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one I had was Aretha Franklin and Fillmore West.
Okay, cool. Nice. Very cool. All right. Dave, what else did you have on your list?
Yeah, I had Queen at Live Aid. Not the longest performance, but certainly an iconic one. That was very cool. Wednesday 15, fuck it, let's do it live. He couldn't get a distributor for his album, so he thought, let's just fucking jump in the van and tour it. And it's on YouTube. It's one of the fucking greatest 90 minutes. Just in a little club, bands on fire, on fire. Easy live at Donington.
Yep.
Ziggy Stardust, the last performance where he fired his band on stage. That is a fucking rock moment right there. And everyone in the band is like, what? Huh? Let's do one more song. What are you talking about around the job? I also had Metallica, but I was more specific with Binge and Purge. I said Seattle 89.
I had Mexico City. Yeah.
The Justice Tour, phenomenal. And yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah. I was surprised. I had quite a few on my list that didn't go through. Motorhead, obviously, that was going to be taken. I had Live at Wembley for Queen. I also had MTV Unplugged for Alice in Chains. That's up there for mine. Deep Purple Made in Japan was one that was, if I hadn't have, that was going to be sort of wasn't quite at the top. Once I got through a few good ones, I thought I'd throw in, but that was very close to making it. A different Aussie one for me was Tribute. I think that's a cracker as well. Nirvana for the MTV Unplugged version, because that's a really cool way they did their songs, but also Angels Live Line, Devin Townsend, Ziltoid Live at the Royal Albert Hall in Canada. That's a good one. That's a good one. I also had as a barrel scraper maybe, but yeah, it was their Motley Crue Carnival of Sins, because it's a great show. I like the DVD of that. And then also I had Slash and Myles live in Melbourne, the CD that I've got of the show that actually went to. They recorded at Live Festival Hall, and you queued up and bought your CD as you left the show. So that's a personal favorite of mine, but that was on my little list there. So let's recap who had what. So Tim, you had Motorhead, No Sleep to Hammersmith, Jimi Hendrix, Live Monterey Pop, The Who, Live at Leeds, Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison, and then James Brown at the Apollo. That was your little list there. For Dave,
very happy with my number one draft pick.
Yes, you should be. That's going to win a lot of votes, that one, I reckon. Dave had Guns N' Roses at the Ritz, Aerosmith the Live bootleg, Nightwish at Barkin, Alice Cooper Brutally Live, which is a bit of a different choice than I expected. Very cool. And then we had Dream Theater Live scenes in New York. That's your list, isn't it? That was right. Yep. Cool. For T1000, he kicked off strong with Pellawell United. That was very, very cool. Nice choice there. Then Operation Live Crime from fucking whatever, you know the band. I forget the name. Fucking mental blank. Queensryche. Fuck me.
Queensryche.
Yeah. Then he had Judas Priest, Fuel for Life 86, which is nice. Armored Saint, Symbol of Salvation, the one that was done, last week I think it was. Was you go through this one? Then Aussie Live and Loud. And then for my list, Metallica, Last Ship, Binge and Purge. If you want to get specific, it was going to be Mexico City for me. Then I had Iron Maiden and Vivo, which isn't the most popular one, but it is one that stands out for me personally. I just love the footage of it personally. Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous. I had to get that one off the board. And then Pink Floyd, Pulse, and Bringing It Home with Rammstein in Paris for mine. So those are our lists. We got some comments. I did get some comments in that one as well. Okay, cool. Shit, okay, I got to scroll back a bit. All right. So Tom says Priest Live, and that's a unanimous one there for a lot of people, I think. Sumile says, this is tough, but I'm going number one, The Gathering, TG25. Cool. Tom also says Maiden Live After Death. Kiss Alive, so Tom would have taken Kiss off the board if he was here. Nicole, good to see you here. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. She's gone high, all Maiden Live After Death. Tom said Wasp Live in the Raw. Now, that's a really good one as well. I did, I was thinking about that. Similar says Operation Live Crime would have been my number 2. So number 2, Faith No More live at the Mark. Yeah, that's yes.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Conrad says Iron Maiden live after that. Thin Lizzy live and dangerous. Stephen Wilson live from Albert Hall. Rush in Rio. Yes, that's very cool too. And Pink Floyd live in Pompeii. Okay, different choice there. Nice. Very good one too, though. Sumalith, Aerion, the Aerion universe. Now, that is very fucking cool too. I have to pay that one. That's a really good choice there. And here's a twist on it. Sumalith, number 4, Ginger, live in Melbourne. Now, that's pretty cool too. That is very cool.
Ginger are fucking amazing.
They are. Very good. Nude says the Alice Cooper Show, Alice Cooper Tribute. Ozzy Osbourne live at Budokan. That's another very popular one as well. Cheap Trick live at the Tote. Nunchuck Superfly, Slade live, and that's Slade. Sorry, live at the Tote. Sorry. Okay, cool. Now I've got it because it's the other way around. Alice Cooper Show by Alice Cooper Tribute. Ozzy Osbourne live at Budokan. Cheap Trick live at the live Budokan. Oh fuck, I don't know. You can see it all there. Work it out, people. Sumalez says I'm giving up. Yngwie Malmsteen double live. Okay, cool. Yes, nice choice there. But also shortlist, Dream Theater album, Deep Purple Live Japan, TNT Anniversary Show. Yes, very cool as well. Cheyenne, good to see you here with us tonight on Facebook. Thanks for joining us. For pure listening pleasure, old school Tim's list for me by far. So there we go. Got a winner there for you, T1000. Oh, no, our Tim. Sorry. I'm not sure which one. Our old school Tim. Old school Tim is our Tim. Yeah, so sorry, my mistake there. Similar, let's go. Strud, number 5 is that TNT live show instead of the Malmsteen one, so he's done a late swap. What else you got here? You shouldn't prompt me to make lists. I'll be thinking about this for the next week. But we'll be here again. You can jump in and give us your final thoughts then. Craig, thanks for jumping in again. So UFO Strangers in the Night, and Similar also says Devon Townsend Retinal Circus. That's another very good show from Devon as well. Sumaleth says I could listen to all your lists, to be honest, and that's a nice compliment to us all. Sally says Binge and Purge, but don't worry, TC, you've got one here as well. So Darren says your list for him. So you've got a winner there. And then we got Dave for the win. He went with Alice. So from Nudes, there we go. So I'm the only one that hasn't got anyone picking me. So that's cool. I'll be the odd one out tonight. Shotgun Mistress have jumped in. So good to see you here with a free Britney comment. Is a bit of an odd one, but we'll take it.
That's true. Free Britney Spears.
Yes. Solidarity. No, that is a fucked up mess, actually, in all seriousness. So, but yeah, hopefully that gets resolved sooner rather than later. But there we go. There are our lists. Go through them and let us know what you think, and we'll put these up as graphics as soon as I'm able to do so. We'll have some fun with this as a segment. But thank you, everyone, for jumping in on that one. Now, before we say goodbye to TC, we're going to do a review with him before he gets out of here and heads off to bed, because I'm assuming you've got to work tomorrow as well, don't you? So I won't keep you too much longer. So apologies. But let's get on to our first. We've got three reviews to get through tonight. Here we go. So Shotgun Mistress, love to you too, lads. So there we go. Love back. We love having you guys interact with us. It's always fun chatting with you guys here when we do these.
Yeah, we're going to play together soon, man. Don't worry.
Yep. Oh, new comment. Basher, thank you for jumping in tonight. Led Zeppelin, How the West was one. I was wondering was.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, AC/DC, if you want blood, you got it. Yeah, that's another one as well. UFO, Strange in the Night, Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous, and Deep Purple, Maiden, Japan. So there we go. There's some crossovers and a couple of different ones there too, which is very, very nice. Alrighty. So in the comments or in the post, take your pick. There's going to be a little reference track here for you from a band called Nestor, and the song is 1989. So that is in the description. It's also in the comments now. So please do, whenever you get a chance, check it out while we go and have a little bit of a chat about this album from this band, which I know that TC is well and truly all over. So this is Nestor with Kids in a Ghost Town, 11 tracks, 42 minutes, the debut album from the Swedish band, released October 2021 by Electric Lodge and or independently. Looks like it's been mixed by Sebastian Forsland of the Night Flight Orchestra, actually, and it's mastered by Thomas Pleck Johansson. 3 singles have been released, and there's been an acoustic version, one of those as well. But the singles so far include On the Run and 1989. The third single, Tomorrow, has a duet guest vocal from Samantha Fox. It's been interesting to see this one go through, because from all reports, this appears to be something of a love and hate it kind of an album. Take your pick which way you want to play with it. But let's have some fun with this one, and let's go to old school Tim first.
I can see why it's a love and hate it kind of album. Well, we've got a bit of an echo here somewhere.
All right, I'm not hearing it, so I don't know.
All right. Well, it's just gone away. Cool. Anyway, Because the first half of the album actually has this great, like old school hard rock, fat chorus, fat riffs, kind of sound, and I really enjoyed the first half of it. The second half, I thought there was too many ballads.
Okay. Yep.
And I thought they took the reverb snare to a whole new extreme.
Yeah.
On one of those.
It's the 80s.
Like, Phil Collins is like, turn it down. But look, it's just not depend on what you like. I mean, like I'm really not a power ballad guy, and I got pretty bored with the second half of the album. But I mean, the first half of the album is fantastic. I mean, if you like that old school hard rock and a little bit of I don't know, 80s poppy metal, then you're probably going to really dig a lot of this. Because I mean, it's quite catchy, and I mean, some of the riffs are fantastic. On the Run, the opening track is a fucking banger. So I mean, that's probably worth listening to on its own. But I mean, if you like the style, then you're probably going to enjoy at least parts of this album, if not all of it. So On the Run was my highlight. And 7 out of 10. But I mean, that's purely just taste because I'm not a power ballad guy, and it was just too much of that for me.
Yeah, fair enough then. Cool. All right, so let's go to Dave next. What did you think of it?
Oh, this is such a fun album. I didn't realize how much I've missed the flanger effect in the guitar tone. But right from the start, lips and killer fucking riffs of excessive flanger, and I love it. You got On the Run, Kids in a Ghost Town, and Fire Sign. Just got that. Oh man, so good. It's almost like this band consists of a bunch of guys that have been in a coma for the last 30 years, and somehow all at the same time, and decide, let's pick up right where we left off, because this is not all over again. Very melodic writing, great hooks to the choruses. You listen to this a few times and just look through the track list like, that's that song. Yeah. It just sticks in your word, it sticks in your head. The singer's got a really cool voice and got those high notes when you need it and carries the stories and the emotion. That works really well. The song Perfect 10 has some really great lyrics in that. It's very descriptive, using eyes like Demi Moore and a body like Sharon Stone. It's just like, I'm going to read this chick. It's nice to hear that gets vocals from Samantha Fox in the ballad Tomorrow. Her vocals brought a whole new level to the song, and it mixed really well with the singer. And it's just, I haven't heard anything from her for such a long time. It's nice to hear. And I can't remember what album it was, but a few months ago, there was some guest spot from some female singer on some album. I can't not remember what it was, but she was barely utilized at all. So it's just nice to have guests that actually has something to do with the album.
It was a classic album we did. Yeah, it was a classic album that we did. I forget which one it was now, but yeah, there was one that was like it was barely there.
Afternoon, but no. I do like ballads, but ending the album with a tearjerker like It Ain't Me, it's just it was a bit odd for the track placement because it's such an energetic album to have like a Weeping Mangina song that late in the album to close it with it. It just left it on a bit of a downer. The only thing, it had a very cool guitar solo. So like, fuck yeah, but they couldn't fix. And with a flanger riff, man. Put a fucking flanger. That just left me happy. Rather than, they broke up and sad. And she needs more fans in her life. That's what she fucking needs. So, after listening to this album a few times and writing this review, I decided I'm going to check out some of their videos on YouTube. I saw in 1989, and I love how they're not taking themselves seriously at all. They're taking the piss out of old. The keyboard player who's got no hair, but he's like, I'm playing the keys, I'm bald and I'm cool, I'm powered. And and I think it's On the Run. They're collecting the old guys and the other jobs and getting in the car. One's falling asleep in the back. Just little touches like that. They're taking their music seriously, but they're not taking themselves seriously. So it's like a non-smutty Steel Panther in that way. I can picture their kids being absolutely horrified that this stuff is on YouTube. I can just picture them. It's like there's a video circulating the school, and the mum's like, "Oh, I was young and I needed the money, And he's like, I'm not talking about your porn, Mum. I'm talking about Dad's fucking porn.
That's probably going to be comment of the night right there. Oh, wow.
With the plastic, they see, oh, man, the big hair and the whatever those spikes were. You got to play a video.
That's why it's linked.
Yeah, but like all good 80s bands, the image was always something extra, and the music when it got down to it, and these guys can certainly play and write some cool songs. This album, Smile, it made me happy. It was great to listen to it from start to finish, and while we can't go back to the 80s, we can pretend that we were living in a simpler time for the duration of this album. And of course, and ends on a sad one, and I had to realize that, it's 2021, and we have to deal with 2021's faults, including this type of music isn't as popular as it should be. People take things far too seriously. And while Sharon Stone might still be worth a look, Demi Moore is mostly plastic and superglue. I don't know what the fuck she's done to her face, man, but Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow.
They wrote a song about her eyes. It's definitely from the 80s. It's not 2021. Jesus. On the Run, Kids in the Ghost Town, Perfect 10 Tomorrow, Find a Sign, and 1989.
All right. Cool. I'll get to just want to quickly jump in here that Andrew Marshall has jumped in and said on YouTube he's been commenting via Instagram, not on YouTube. So apologies for those on Instagram that are tuning in. If you're commenting, I've got no way of actually seeing because it's a third-party application. I can't get it to come through the thing here. And even if I log into Instagram, it doesn't show me my own live stream in the process. So I can't engage with comments there. So my apologies. If you are wanting to comment, then Instagram is not the place to do it. Do it on something else. But I'll get to the other comments there in a moment. But before we do, TC, was this review so far everything you thought it would be?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure how Dave would go with this one.
Yeah.
I know he's not a fan of the Night Flight Orchestra, and there's a little bit of that in there in moments, but not a lot. But
when Andrew said it was mixed by the guy from Night Flight Orchestra, I went from loving it to hating it, and then back to loving it.
But look, for me, when they first released On the Run, besides metal and hard rock, my other big love is 80s pop. So it was naturally I was just going to be drawn to this sound straight away. I just love the 80s keyboards, that kind of sound.
Yeah.
So it grabbed my attention pretty quickly, and then they released the next couple of songs, and there was a fair bit of hype on this album too before it came out from a few people in the know saying it was going to be one of the albums of the year and all this kind of stuff. So I was pretty keen to give it a listen. And look, since it's come out, I've given it a pretty decent workout. And straight away, you can hear that 80s melodic rock, the AOR sound, heaps of keyboards. It's got everything I want in an album with that kind of sound.
Yep.
And these guys, they haven't, like Dave said, they haven't tried to hide the fact. They've blatantly said, we are all about the 80s. I mean, you don't bring Samantha Fox into an album, for fuck's sake, unless you're obsessed with the 80s. She was, it was the 80s. I mean, they could have got anyone. They got Samantha Fox. So that tells you where their headspace is when they release this album. So, I was exactly the same with Dave in terms of the Perfect 10 song. I love the lyrics in that, talking about Demi Moore and Sharon Stone, again, throwing back to the 80s and stuff. The song Stone Cold Eyes actually reminds me a little bit of sort of early Survivor, if you sort of check it out albums.
I can see that.
And that song these days, I've got a bit of Van Halen in that. It actually reminded me of the song Right Now by Van Halen. If you listen to Right Now by Van Halen, listen to that. There's a couple of similarities in those two songs.
Yep.
I agree with that. The ballad, they bring out a ballad with Samantha Fox. You kind of expect it to be as cheesy as shit, but it actually wasn't. It actually kind of was they just got the right balance on that, I thought.
They did that pretty well, that one. Yeah.
And the following track, which is kind of another ballad, it's weird. They sort of put two and two together, but I think the next track, that We Are Not Okay, I think it's one of the standouts of the album. It's fantastic. Okay. I mean, Fire Sign, that's probably the heaviest song on the album. But it's in 1989. That's catchy as hell. The videos, all the videos they put out are fantastic. I was going to mention that. Dave got there in front of me, but the videos are amazing. For me, it's just a catchy album. That it flows well. The hooks are great. I love the keyboards. They're in there. They're pretty heavy, but they don't overdo it, in my opinion. If I had one knock, it would be the last song. I agree with that. I feel like it's a good song, but I feel like it needed to end on a bang, on a high, just to have that 3 out of the last 4 or 5 tracks as ballads, like Tim said as well. It would have been good to have it, but Yeah, overall, this it's a grower too. The more you listen to it, the more it grabs you. I reckon it's. I've probably listened to it 7 or 8, 9 times now over the weekend. It's just every time I listen to it, I enjoy it more and more and more.
Yeah.
So for me, the standouts are probably On the Run, Perfect 10, We Are Not Okay, 1989, Tomorrow. I could probably fire sign and probably most of them, to be fair. So I gave it a 9.5. I loved it.
Nice.
Start to finish, it was a really enjoyable album.
Beautiful. All right. Well done. Everything that's been said is true. This is, if you don't like the 80s, stay the fuck away from this album. This is not going to do anything to change your mind at all. If you like the 80s, if you like things like Stranger Things or Cobra Kai that are on Netflix these days, this is the album for you. If you are right into the nostalgia trip, this will take you back, but it's not done in the dated cheesy way. They've managed to, like, the imagery with the videos is really clever because they're taking the piss. But in the songs, the writing, the performances, the lyrical content involved in this, they're not taking the piss. They're doing very good songs. The craft is bang on. The performances are fantastic. The mix is fucking fantastic. I love the mix on this one. I know that the snare's been mentioned a bit, but for the 80s and for replicating it today, that snare was fucking bang on, and it takes you straight back to it. So yeah, no, and to get the sonics right and not overcook it was a neat trick. So well done to the guys producing, mixing, mastering this one. Very, very well done. Great tones across it. The balance is perfect. And like I was saying, the performances match it. So no one goes too hard at things, and the push and pull between things like the synth and the guitars is really nicely done. And it just flows. Like, I know I did get the sort of flatter spot in the second half of the album, but at the same time, it didn't bother me too much because it's a short enough listen that, excuse me, the repeat spin side of things is really easy to do. This is one that, like TC said, if you put this on and the first spin hooks you, you're going to go back very, very quickly, and you're going to keep spinning this one. It's going to grow on you more and more over time. I think it's not going to be for everyone. I can see why people might not like this one. Like I said, if the 80s are calling, and if you're not a fan of that, just stay the fuck away from this one because it has all those. The song 1989, I picked that one. It's not the most recent video, but I picked that one because it is, for me, the album in one song. And yeah, if you like that song, you'll love the album. If you don't like that song, you're not going to get anything else that's going to change your mind on this album. So that's the benchmark kind of reference track on this one. But the hooks are undeniable. There's some nice solos on this as well. And I love the rhythm on this. The way they play with rhythm and space was really cool too. I don't know. I think the cheesiest parts on this one for me were sort of Stone Cold Eyes. I thought the generic key change in that one was a bit sort of like, okay, now you are kind of just, it's not bad, but you're just sort of pushing the needle a little bit to that thing. And These Days might go a bit too far as well on the pushing the 80s element. But beyond that, not too much. They've done a really good good job of walking the line. But at the same time, you get tracks like has been mentioned, Fire Sign, which is fucking brilliantly intense, and I love the energy on that one. The duet's really well done. It's a nice touch on the record. And Perfect 10's been referenced by, I think, all of us tonight, and that's a really solid track too. I like the storytelling in that. So all in all, this is a really solid, good album. If you like anything at all from the 80s, be it rock, metal, or even a bit on the poppier side of things too, it's a good little melting pot of those three influences from that era, which is very, very cool. Very hard to do well, but they did it very nicely. So 8 out of 10 from me. 1989 was my standout, but then also Kids in a Ghost Town. I really liked what they did with that track early on in the album. And then, yeah, Perfect 10 was another standout for me on that one as well. And that brings us to the end of our first review on that one tonight. So before you get out of here, TC, just let me go through the comments here. Shotgun Mistress says, definitely Timmy, make our own top 10 live set. Can't wait. That's going back to you there before. Nicole was having a good little chuckle at Dave's review there when that was going on. So I think we all were, which is nice. Conrad says 80s movie montage songs for sure. That's what that is. And then Nicole's also referenced the Walkman, which is, yeah, a nice little nod to things there. This is why if you like things like Cobra Kai and Stranger Things, you're going to really get a kick out of this. But this is where we say farewell to TC. He does bail on us after this one. But before you do go, is there anything you'd like to put in the bin with us here tonight?
Probably just what we were talking about before the show with this regional lockdown not ending until 6 p.m. on Friday night. It's ridiculous. Every man and his dog's going to be lining up to get down to wherever at 6 o'clock on a Friday night. Why they didn't drop it on the Thursday night, like Tim said, is beyond me. It just would have made it so much easier because I'm not looking forward to getting in the car Friday with 8 million other people heading down the coast. So I might get down there by midnight the way it's looking. So seems stupid personally, but that's about it for my bin.
No, well put, well done, and I do agree. It's a bit of a silly one, that one, but hopefully you enjoy the weekend away that you got planned, and make sure you drive safe because we'd like to see a bit more of you here, I think, as well. So but we'll say farewell to you there. Thank you for jumping in tonight. Hopefully you had a bit of fun with that here with us, and it's been good to see you here again, and we'll see what we can do to line you up sometime soon as well. I'll keep you in the loop.
No worries.
And happy birthday as well.
Yeah, happy birthday, mate.
Thanks,
Genuinely.
Appreciate it.
Enjoy those drinks in the fridge before you go away on the weekend. That way the house sitter can't drink them all for you.
Yeah, I'll give it a red hot crack this week for sure.
That's what I like to hear, mate. All righty. Cheers. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been an absolute blast. Beautiful,
See you
mate.
guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, and then there were three, and then we're going to move on to the local band of tonight. So people, we do mention gear changes. This is definitely one of those. So Nicole was nice to say goodbye to TC. So thank you very much. I think we'll have to change his name from T1000 to TC. I think that's going to be the natural progression of things in this context. But our next one is going to be 12 Foot Ninja. So there's a reference track in the comments and in the post for this one. The reference track is Vengeance, which if you were tuning in on Saturday night on Channel 31, it got a run. And if you're tuning in on Thursday night in Adelaide, it'll be on that one as well coming up. But this is 12 Foot Ninja with Vengeance. That's your reference track while we go through the next album from the band. So this is 12 Foot Ninja with Vengeance. 10 tracks, 34 minutes. The third studio album from the Australian band released October 2021 via Volcanic Music. Produced by lead guitarist Stevish McKay. 3 singles have been released, including Start the Fire and Long Way Home. The album has got a guest spot from Tatiana Schmaluk of Ginger, which we mentioned a couple of times here tonight, on the third single, Over and Out. And this is an ambitious project that also has incorporated a video game, a novel, and a graphic novel as well. It's been a while with their last EP or album coming out in 2016. So they've had a few things going on behind the scenes. So they finally got this one out and about. So let's see how this one goes before we do. Andrew Marshall on YouTube's gone Genesis reference, and then there were 3. So yes, there were indeed. But anyway, who wants to go first? Let's go to Dave first on this one. How'd you go?
Yeah, I've been aware of this band for a long time, but I've never actually heard them. So this is my first time listening to them, and this is fucking great. It is really, really impressive. There's a lot of different influences and styles from all over the place, different moods, different tempos, and that can just be in one song. I think each song is like crafted as a unique work of art. It is fucking good. They got away from not letting the listener get comfortable or complacent, but it's not jarring or hard to listen to. It's actually a lot of fun, and it can be anything from brutal, harsh vocals to lounge jazz. And it just shifts seamlessly. The only thing you can expect is to be unexpected. You can the only song that you think might kind of be a straightforward heavy song is Culture War, and then in the middle they throw a curveball and you get this mariachi musical midsection. And it's fucking fantastic. The hard vocals in general are pretty hit and miss for me, but this is really well done and it works so well with everything. In the clean vocals, really like them as well. This guy's got a great. It's all the singer doing both.
Kinetic.
Same dude.
He's fantastic. Same dude.
The composition is really interesting throughout. With so many changing of styles, it doesn't seem jarring. You get everything from metal, funk, and some symphonic elements as well. You get some pop, some jazz. There's a song like IDK. I just read that as I don't know, but the song's called IDK. It's mostly jazz, but then there's this more burst of harsh vocal. But it's not like a full section. It's just like this little bit. And those moments just heighten what's happening around it. It's fucking really clever. Shock to the System. It's a really poppy song, and I shouldn't like it. Ordinarily, if I heard something like that, I would just like, no, fuck, I don't like pop. I found myself liking it. It's not something I would admit to liking, but the changes between the pop and the heavy riff is really well done. I don't like the robot effect on the vocals, though. That is a bit jarring. Personal taste. but it kind of fit what they were doing with the song, so I understand why they went with it. The only song that really stays in a similar space for the duration is the closing track, Tangled. And it was nice to have one on the mellow moment. I mean, some albums, like the Nestor, that didn't work, but this, just a nice little closing one. And it's pretty quick listen. It's 35 minutes, but there's a hell of a lot going on in that time. Got to credit the production.
It doesn't need to be longer. It doesn't need to be longer. I think they got that right.
The perfect length, yeah. And the production, I'm not really into knowledgeable on that type of stuff, but I would assume that most producers would be like fluent with one or two styles of music. And because there's so much going on in here, it would really push whoever they got to record this. And everything
their own guitarist did it, so the person inside actually did a really good job. So yeah,
he would be playing a lot of different styles, so he'd be knowing how to capture all that. Yeah, it's captured really well. It flows really well. After listening to this, I can't help but be impressed, really impressed with the musicianship and the composition. This forces the listener to pay attention, and it will push whatever musical box you live in. And I can be pretty set in a lot of my tastes, but I thought this was 9 out of 10. Start the Fire, Long Way Home, IDK, Shock to the System, Culture War, Over and Out, and Tangled were my standouts this album as well.
Cool. All right. Timmy, I'm assuming you liked this one. I'm hoping you did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I've been a Ninja fan for a long time now, and they're just so fucking good. First of all, again, we've mentioned it was with previous band, but marketing it right. With the video game and the book and everything, like if this band was in your sphere, you were aware this album was coming out. So I just saw as well the 20th on the ARIA charts. So
congrats. Yep.
Yeah, so it worked. And the second thing is they backed it up with a really good album. And I mean, these guys kind of started out as, you know, they were always doing the genre bending thing, but there was more. It was more like reggae funk when they started out, you know.
Yeah.
And nowadays, it feels like they've expanded that style a little bit. They've pushed it out, but at the same time, I almost feel like they're also more of a metal band now than what they were when they started as well.
Did this feel like it was, in a strange way, more accessible than previous albums to you?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It felt like if you're a regular metalhead and you just wanted to listen to heavy metal, you could listen to this one. And even though there was a lot of different styles going on, you were still with it. Because, I mean, I can understand a dude listening to Molotov Cocktail or Coming For You and thinking, okay, cool, but that's a bit weird.
Yeah, yep.
With this one, it just flowed, and I always thought they flowed great, but this one was more seamless than anything else they've done. So, what can I say? I mean, they've managed to carve out their own niche, unique genre for themselves.
Yep.
And I feel like this is as close to perfect as they are at their own sound as they've been so far, whatever that means.
Yep.
So, fair play to them. I mean, it's a top 10 contender for sure. 9 out of 10. For me, Long Way Home, Vengeance, and Culture War are my highlights.
I think, like, Nikki behind the scenes, I think she's not completely sold. Like, she likes it, but she's not quite sure where it ranks amongst previous works for her.
Nikki, I can understand that too.
Yeah. Because that's why I was asking about, the more accessible side of things too, because it might not be quite what the old school fans are expecting. But if you're new to this band, this is the perfect place to start. And that's not to diminish anything on here. This is technical, progressive, interesting, diverse. It takes all the gear changes you want, but they just found a way, like Tim said there, to really just sort of hone in and streamline the whole album from start to finish. This whole thing flows so fucking well. It's probably the best flowing record they've done, EP or album. I think it's the best flow they put together in track order and composition overall. So that's where it feels like they've really honed in on who they are. As bombastic as their style is, this album just, I don't know if it's because they're working on novels and stuff at the same time and it's made the the narrative a focus on this, and they've really smoothed out the edges to get the narrative right. But this flies by, and it's so fucking easy to repeat spin. I said before, Nestor was really easy to repeat spin. This is so fucking simple. Like, the album length is just right for a simple pass, because if you knew it's going to take a minute, but if you're a fan and this grabs you, you're going to go back, and it's so easy to keep going back to it. This is one that the well does not go dry on. And I love the little, like, we all talk about the bombastic stuff, but the lyrics on this were fucking fantastic. I thought the storytelling was brilliant. Probably some of the best ones they've done yet, to be honest. I liked how the little, tricky ones like IDK, which is a really nice sort of wordplay in that, and very clever stuff there. The mix is phenomenal on top of all this. All the tones are great. The mixing, Stevic, fuck, you're a gun at this stuff now. Like, this is a self-produced album from the band, and it's like, fuck me dead. This is brilliantly produced. Like, the layering, the toss, the twists and turns are all executed perfectly. So performances, production, songwriting, the whole lot, man. Fuck me dead. If you like it different at all, you've got to get onto this one. Like, now, this is what Tim said, a top 10 contender for me by a long way. I found it interesting that some people didn't like reading other reviewers, and that when doing my research, you just see little notes in that. But some people didn't like the closing track, the soft one. I actually liked it. I thought it was a nice way to finish up the album. It flowed really well, and it ended up being a really good thing. And there were other people saying too, they wanted to hear Tatiana do the growly vocal, and I'm like, I'm glad she didn't. I thought her doing a really clean vocal on Over and Out was a really nice touch on this one. That it would have been cliche to give her the growly vocal as opposed to making her sing clean for the whole way through a song. I just thought that was really nice. Go on.
If they wanted growly vocals, they just could have done it themselves.
I thought that the way the two tones from Kin and from Tatiana played off against each other was really, really nice. The harmony for the chorus was fucking beautiful. Yeah. I mean, that's one of my standout songs on this album. There's no duds on this at all. I love every fucking minute of this thing, but that was just because it was such a, and I don't know that we've heard this band do a duet before either from memory. So
I don't think so either. No.
Yeah, and I loved what they did with this one. The videos are great as well. Another band that do great videos. These guys always do great videos. This one, I love how they have the humor in their stuff. And there was someone commenting on Twitter the other night about humor in rock and metal. I'm like, no, I think humor has its place in rock and metal personally. I think these guys do exceptionally well. I love it. I reckon this band are fantastic. I love the album. I think it's a fucking ripper. So for me, I don't know. If you know the band, you'll like the album. If you don't know, this is the perfect place to start and then work your way back, because it'll only get more bombastic from here. But this is a far cry from Tangled. This is still just as out there. It's just they managed to just refine things just a little bit to make it really, really flow nicely as a complete listen. So well done to everyone involved. I know they've had a bit to go through to get this one done, so it's a credit to you all. But it's a 10 out of 10 from me. I fucking love it. They're great guys, so well done. Long Way Home, I fucking love that song. Culture War is another one for me. Over and Out and IDK, but yeah, like I said, no duds on this one. Check it out, please do, because it's a fucking stunning release, and I'm glad that went well for all of us. So there we go. Going back to our comments for a second, Sumulet says, okay, definitely going to buy this album. Please do. You will not be disappointed. And they've got a heap of stuff out there too. They got the novel and that out too. There's heaps. So if this grabs you, then support the band by any method you choose at all. Andrew jumping before to say, I love the live album draft, except for the reminder of the two I used to own on vinyl before Wife Number 2 had me sell all the vinyl. Made in Japan, Live and Dangerous. I had lots of vinyl. Damn, that sucks, man. Sorry to hear that. But a couple of live album suggestions, if you're not familiar with them. Space Ritual by Hawkwind, that always polls highly. And On Your Feet or On Your Knees by Blue Oyster Cult. That's another one too that's a bit overlooked. So yes, some nice choices in that one too. All right. Time for our main event of the evening. So I'll scroll through my notes here because we did things in a bit of a different order than I was planning originally. But here we go. This is Dave. We're going to make you wait for this one a little bit. We'll go to Tim first in a second, but we have to make you wait a little bit. Yes. So the main event for tonight is Dream Theater. How could it not be? The reference track I've given you all in the comments and in the description or the post is Invisible Monster. That is the reference track. So Dream Theater. Invisible Monster is your reference track for the new album, which we're going to give our thoughts on right about now. So this is Dream Theater with A View from the Top of the World. 7 tracks for 70 minutes. 15th studio album from the American band, released October 2021 via Inside Out Music, while Dave rubs his hands with glee. Produced by guitarist John Petrucci. Mixed and mastered by Andy Sneap. This is the band's first recorded at their own DTHQ studio. 2 singles have so far been released in The Alien and Invisible Monster. This is a band that some of us here at the show absolutely love, while others of us have absolutely struggled with it. Dave and I are 2 sides of the coin on that one. So Dave's the big fan. I've traditionally struggled. So we'll see how this one goes this time around. Before we get to any of those points of view, let's go to the man in the middle, Tim, first. What have you got?
All right. So, look. Where is that echo coming from again?
I'm not hearing it. Dave, are you hearing it when it comes through?
Yeah, a little bit. Very
okay. Weird. I don't know.
Let's try again.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, anyways. Look, I know I make fun of Dream Theater and Labrie quite a lot, but the truth be told, I've listened to a lot of this stuff and really enjoyed quite a lot of it. So, I mean, it comes from a place of love. Now, originally when the first single came out, which is Invisible Monster, was it? Yeah. I was a little bit. It wasn't what I was expecting when I first heard the track, because I've been listening to obviously Petrucci's last solo album, and there was the other album they did, was Petrucci, Portnoy, and I think Jordan Rudess. That other
Tension Experiment.
And they were, of course, both fucking phenomenal. But completely different to what that single was, because when you listen to those 2 albums, and you know, in my mind, I was expecting like a bullshit fuck off technical thing, and then Invisible Monster came out, and it's like, okay, they used all the technical stuff for their solo albums. Listening to this album once it came through, it started to make much more sense, you know, by the time you're halfway through the first song, how Invisible Monster works as a single. And its track placement. I think it's probably the wrong choice for a single, because I think it's one of the weaker tracks on the album. But with its track placement, it actually makes perfect sense going through. And I mean, look, to be perfectly honest, though, I think, look, by far, best thing they've done since Mangini joined the band.
Yeah. Okay.
And this might be. We'll have to see how this goes in a few years. But this might be the best Dream Theater album.
Wow. Okay.
That's really.
It's fucking incredible.
I didn't expect to hear that tonight. Wow.
It is fucking incredible. And, like, honestly, from halfway through the first track, I was hooked. And I never thought I would say this, but Mangini smokes this thing.
He tightened him up, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, they really did tighten him up. And I'm a huge Portnoy fan. But this is what Mangini does well, as opposed to what Portnoy, because he tries to be Portnoy light in previous albums. This is just him being him. And then to top it all off, the songs are much more, you know, laid back. They are much more, you know, old school prog. But at the same time, they're also heavy metal songs as well. There's balls and there's bite in there. There's some aggression, but there's also some light moments. The composition is fantastic. Performance is fantastic, as you'd expect. I love the way they use the keys as well. Just the keys really do set the atmosphere fantastically well. They really back up
the
guitars really nicely.
Yeah.
Petrucci's guitar tone was fucking incredible. That's one of the finest guitar tones I've heard all year. Particularly that rhythm tone when he goes, you know, further down the neck, he really crunches the dancers. That was just gorgeous. And his lead tone as well was, again, just absolutely incredible. And this is the best James Labrie has sounded in fucking who knows how long. This is he really got into this one fantastic. So I really struggled to fault this at all. If anything, if there was a fault, the ending of Transcending Time, I thought, started to get a little cheesy. But then I thought the melody that came afterwards was so fantastic that it made it work. So that's my tiny fault. After that, I don't really have much. I'll give it a 10 because it's fucking awesome. And I think if you're anywhere near a prog fan, or if you're a half Dream Theater fan or I'm a half anything fan. If this band has half tickled your fancy and you've looked away and thought, no, not for me, this is one to check out because I can't think of any way they could have done it any better.
Okay. This is all right. This is cool because it's interesting watching in the chat we've got Dave and Nick, because you two are the biggest. Maybe Mick would be in there in that chat as well, but he hasn't been as active because we've been very, very busy. But you and Nick have been going back and forth about, this band and this album bit in general. So it's been interesting watching where this sits. And I've got some questions in my review about, where this sits for the old school fans. So let's find out. I got some good comments coming through, which I'll get to soon. But Dave, you're the diehard for this band that we've got. So how does this go for you?
Yeah. Look, as you would expect with a Dream Theater album, it takes a few listens to fully appreciate it and get what they're doing. And to be honest, the wow factor isn't there for me anymore. There's nothing in here that made me want to pick up a guitar and learn how to play it. Whereas every other album, I'm left wishing I was a better musician and could actually play their stuff. But
Even the Astonishing?
The Astonishing, I just pretend doesn't exist. But yeah, no. I just wiped out my brain. But while this doesn't excite me as a guitar player, I can certainly enjoy it as a fan of music and a fan of Dream Theater. It's not terrible. I don't dislike it at any mean of it, but it's just they've got a big catalog of music, and we'll get later. I do like the lyrics throughout this album. I think they've got a really interesting topic of working towards goals and experience and dealing with inner conflict and setbacks. And I thought a lot of the lyrics were very, very well done. It's pretty reflective.
For me, the lyrics are probably the best I've heard these guys do since the album we did as that Torture special. I think it was one you chose. I forget which one it was now.
Yeah, Scenes from a Memory.
Yeah, I think this is the best lyrical work they've done since then for me.
Oh, cool. But the right theme for a band of this age to start exploring, because they have had that level of success and you can look back to it and you can be observant about things around you. So it's not going to win them any new fans, but I think bands that have been along for the journey are certainly going to appreciate that aspect. Most lyrics are written by Petrucci, but this time around we get a song from John Mayung. I am so excited because he used to write some great stuff back in the early days, and then he went quiet. And well, he's a quiet guy, but he's a very astute and articulate writer. So I love hearing songs that he's written. We also get two songs from James LeBray, The Alien and Answering the Call, and they're both really good. And Petrucci wrote the rest. But I know LeBray cops a lot of shit from a lot of people, but I think his voice sounds fucking great on this album. And I can't imagine this band with any other singer. He's just perfect. His vocal delivery in the song in the chorus for Sleeping Giants, that's really interesting because he's phrased it in a way you wouldn't expect people to do it. There's a lot of emphasis in different places where you would talk or where other singers would sing. I know this band would a few really hard curveballs at him, so he has to adjust what he does to fit what they do. As Tim pointed out, the keyboards are fucking amazing throughout this. I think Jordan Rudess has chosen some really great tones that really suit the song and really complement John Petrucci's guitar. And his playing is exceptional throughout the whole thing. There are moments where it's got that symphonic sound that you would get from Nightwish, and others where you just dial back. And then in the song Answering the Call, there's a guitar keyboard dual solo, but the overlap really hard to pinpoint. Is that keys or is that guitar, or are they harmonizing and then one goes off and then one? It's really well done. That was very clever. Also, like, he's always had that light-hearted humor where he puts a little bit of upbeat, crazy melody into some of his songs. There's a little section in Sleeping Giants where he does that. Petrucci's guitar tone is fucking amazing. A lot of that comes down to his technique and his fingers, but he's pulled out a string guitar on the song Awaken the Master. And there's a video of him playing this 8-string beast. It's like, good God, this guy's not human. Mangini, drumming's impressive. There's a few moments on here where he really gets to shine. And, I did like what he did on the self-titled album they did a few years ago. That was the first one where he just copied the program shit that Petrucci was doing when he was writing the first album. But the self-titled one, that's where he got to be him. But, yeah, I think like Tim said, he's really dialed it back and just found his groove on this one. But there are a lot of long songs in here, and for the most part, it's not really hard to listen to. I do think they could have gotten a bit more out of Answering the Call. That song might have had a bit more potential. I just think they could have done a bit more with that.
Okay.
The two singles, out of The Alien and Invisible Monster, I do prefer Invisible Monster. They're both pretty good songs, but for all their excessive musicianship, they can really write an earworm, and that chorus to Invisible Monster, it's
the hook.
probably why that goes as a single. I hate to do it. I have to move on. It's been over 10 years, but I miss Mike Portnoy, and not just his drumming, and his personality, but I miss the hate songs and the torture in a conflict. He had a real knack for that darkness that this band just doesn't have without him. I also miss his backup vocals at the end of Transcending Time, where they got that harmonized between a few different vocals. He would have fit perfectly in that song. It's just, I almost expected, like, oh, fuck, there's no Portnoy. He's gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Awaken the Master, that's got such a cool heavy riff, and Mangini's drums on that track are awesome. And, you know, like I said, it's cool to hear John May on the gang, and his topic for that song about finding your way in life and finding balance made me think of Cobra Kai. Well, fuck yeah. The song is amazing. Petrucci's playing, it's just, it can be subtle, and then he gets a little bit of shred, and then back to being subtle, but everything is there for a reason. I'll wind up quicker. I know I'm probably not. Now, I did say, for the most part, this is easy to listen to. This is where I kind of have a problem with this album. The epic 20-minute title track. It starts off. I can't believe I'm saying this. It drags in the middle. And there's long songs before. Change of Season, Dr. Barium, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. It goes for 50 minutes, that last one. But they were never boring. Everything was interesting. Everything was fucking wow. But that song, it gets this midsection, and there's a nice solo there, but when it gets back, it's kind of predictable. You get normal run, and then they wind up the song. It's disappointing because the other 6 songs are fantastic, and that song, and because it's such a long song, and because it's your last impression of the album, it kind of overshadows everything. I know they can do that. And I don't want to say it's a safe album, but it's familiar. And with such, which is ironic because they're longer than the Distance Over Time songs, but I think Distance Over Time is a better album overall. It's just not as wow as their previous stuff. While it's not earth-shattering, it is a good album, and I will continue to listen to it. But as I said earlier, it's got the weight of such a great discography behind them, and I can still expect good from this band, even though they've delivered excellent in the past. It was really hard to score because it's more than an 8, but a lot of their other albums are 10s and 9s, so I give it 8.5. My standouts are everything except for the title track. That's all the other. Yeah, it's a weird one. I'm not sure how I feel about this overall. I love this band. I like this album, but it just doesn't have that factor that drew me to this band. And that bit's a bit disappointing, but on this band's worst day, they're still pretty fucking good. So I can appreciate that.
I've got some comments here. I see you commenting, Jimmy, on YouTube as well. So I'll get to some commentary here in a minute. And not our Jimmy, a different Jimmy. But we've got. For me, this is one of those albums where I'm really curious about the established fan base and how they'll take this on board, because I think this is more accessible than a lot of their stuff has been in the past. I think Mangini settling into a groove has made this what Tim said before. It's a little bit more old school prog rock to metal versus being the full-blown bombastic stuff, which tends to drive me nuts in the past when they're taking these hard turns. It's like, fuck. I like it in things like 12 Foot Ninja because there's an energy to it. But when it's this, my biggest critique of these guys has been in how clinical it is. What I thought was a great trick was bringing Sneap in. I think he's warmed it up. He's made it not so sterile and cold sonically. He's given them a bit of grunt and organic warmth in the sound, and that in turn has made Labrie much more palatable to listen to. I think his vocal sounds fantastic. Probably the best vocal I've heard him do for me personally, taste-wise, because he's been warmed up in the mix. And I just think that having Sneap in combined with allowing Mangini to be himself has not made this album as technical or as out there as other releases, not by a long way, but it's made it for me much more accessible, much easier to get into them, and I can appreciate what they're doing in this one a lot more. The one that sort of irked me was the title track. It's a long one, and I thought that was a bit too much. But the flip side is that, across the rest of the album, this is pretty nicely done. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I expected to, because I said at the top that I've traditionally struggled with this band and what they do. This one's got a nice blend of beauty and aggression in it. I liked how there is that bite to these songs. I like how there was push and pull between the guitars and the keys. And what they did was they left notes out, which they don't normally do, which is where I start to get irked by them. With this time around, they left notes out. They left space for things to breathe, which was a really nice touch for mine on this one too. Storytelling and lyrics, like I said, were fantastic on this for mine. And you get some traditional stuff, like you get like Sleeping Giant, I think is pretty much a more traditional Dream Theater song for mine, for not the most educated point of view out there, but for me it feels like the most Dream Theater-ish kind of song. But you get some different ones on this one, like Invisible Monster, there's a hook. And I'm like, what the fuck, there's a hook? And that's why it was a single and it made sense to me. And it was cool how it settled into a groove and they allowed those things. And the way they built these songs over time versus having to take hard left and right turns to make it interesting the whole way through was more engaging to me as a listener from the outside of not being the hugest fan over the years. There's no question of the talent on this one at all, and I think the mix is brilliant. The layering in of little things on this one, like little backwards moments and stuff, there's some subtle work, some great ear candy in this one on the production side. I think the sonics of this one, the warmth of it all, combined with the way they've set a little groove more on this one was much more interesting. I got little bits of Rush here and there in this one as well, in composition-wise. There's little moments here and there that put me in mind of Rush, which I actually really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. I just thought... when I was listening to it, the biggest thing for me, like everything you guys have said is right. But for me, it's going to be one of those ones where I'm curious how the old school fans will embrace this one, because I think that it's one of those ones where they will find it tame. But for people like me that have traditionally struggled with it, I think it will grow the audience because there's a hook in the single and the album's actually relatively easy to digest by comparison to previous releases. That may not be what you're looking for if you're a diehard fan, but for someone like me, it's a lot easier. And it's like, okay, cool, I get where Tim's saying this might be one of the better ones down the line, if not the best, because anyone and everyone can get into this one. That's the charm or the appeal of it to me, is that it's very accessible without sort of quote unquote selling out. They haven't sold their soul and gone, let's make it commercial. They've just made it so that like they settle into a groove and they let things build, or it felt more organic. It didn't feel like they had to have the 7 and this and that and whatever else because they're fucking theory heads. They just let things breathe and grow. Sorry, Tim.
They got rid of the things that annoyed people.
Yeah, it was a leaner one for me, which
the songs sound a little more like normal songs.
Yeah,
while still being bullshit.
Yeah,
they don't sound like a bunch of nerds in a music theory class.
Yeah,
they sound like a rock band, and they EQ'd Labrie correctly.
Yes, and that makes a big difference. And they had him back a little bit too. So the warmth of the tones, especially the drums and the bass, the warmth in the bottom end, really softened him off in a nice way because the EQ, but then putting him back a bit, that the reverb was just right. All the little details in this were bang on. That's why I say Sneap. Like we credited Sneap when it comes to things like Firepower, Judas Priest, and he also challenges the bands that he works with. I think he's challenged Dream Theater to go, okay, you've done this before, let's try it this way. And I think it's worked for me. So like I said, for not being the diehard fan, for me, this is like, I'm a lot more into this one than I have been previous releases. Still not my go-to, but I do appreciate this one, and I can see myself putting this one on in the future versus other ones where I put them on and going, I can appreciate it, but I'm not going to go back to it. This one I can go back to, I think, and that to me for this band is saying something when I've traditionally struggled. So for the outsiders, if like Tim said, if you've sort of not been into this band before, this is an album to check out. I think this is one that, give this one a go if you're not a diehard fan. Diehard fans, you might find it a bit tame, but on the outside, the people outside of that loop, I think it's a good one. So if you're on the outside like I've been for a while, check it out. So for me,
there's a bit of yogurt with you. There's a bit of yogurt with your curry. Yeah.
So 8.5 out of 10 from me. Answering the Call, Invisible Monster, and Awaken the Master were I love the aggression in Awaken the Master. That was really cool for mine. There was a bit of darkness in that was a nice touch on this one too. So I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Which is cool. So this is where it's funny because Dave and Nick have been sort of like, okay, Nick in particular, he's not a huge fan of it. It's been interesting watching him have the commentary going on in our chat and also on his own personal page. But if you've been annoyed by the math side or the nerd side of this band before, this is one. I think that it'll be a much easier one to take in. It's interesting they're going through the comments that we've had coming through here. So at the very beginning of it, Sumo is going, please be great, please be great, please be great. So Tim gave it a glowing review. And then Dave was like, it's good, but everyone, yeah, exactly. Jimmy's gone, the title track is amazing, but Holy Moses, the most of the rest bores me to shit, which is where I understand people that are diehard fans because there's more comments coming from him later on too. Also, a nod to the artwork. I thought the artwork was really clever on this one too. That was a really nice piece of art for this one. Conrad said, I've been a diehard fan of Dream Theater since Images and Words, but I've really struggled since Portnoy left. The DT albums with Mangini just don't have the same feel. However, I will definitely give this a solid try. So, yep, let us know what you think of that when you do so. Nicole on the snippet said, sounds good, but not my bag, a bit slow for me. And that's the band. You're not going to get, the fast-paced stuff with these guys, but they're interesting in the way I like the way the thing's built on this album. Jimmy came back to say, was really hoping for some uniqueness with this album, but it's just more of the same. As a Dream Theater fan of 20 or so years, it's just nothing new or exciting. And that's where I think I was curious about that. It's getting that feedback from Dave, from Nick, from Jimmy here tonight. Like, I think the old school fans might struggle with this one, but others, it might pay off. So we'll see what happens. Andrew said, based on Tim's review, going to check this Dream Theater album out, which is very nice, very cool. Well done there. Jimmy says, agree. It sounds amazing and the vocals sound excellent too, so there's some points in favor for it. Sumaleth goes, I probably want the nerds in a math class version of DT, but I'll still check this album out. Super curious at this point. So there we go. All right, cool. It is an interesting one for the diehard fans out there, which I know there are a lot. So please give us your thoughts. None of us canned it, so give us your thoughts and let's see how we go with this one. I'm really curious how the old guard will go with this one.
Is there a more divisive band out there than Dream Theater?
No.
Ooh. That's
like, it's very rare you meet a guy who's like, yeah, Dream Theater, yeah, they're all right. Got some tunes.
Yeah, people go, oh, fuck it, they're boring or they're whatever, and people go, oh, they love them. The devotion they have from their fan base is extreme. They do trigger a very loyal fan base. I know that.
Yeah. And they also do. They have their fair share of, like, not going to give them a chance.
Yeah, detractors that just won't put them on at all, which is and I would say I would have fallen into that category years ago. Now it's a bit different, having had a bit more exposure to them. But early on, I've gone, no, fuck off.
And I mean, like, there are people who sit in the middle because, like, Dream Theater's, their back catalogue covers a wide variety of styles.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you listen to. But they are like. But I wonder if there's a more divisive band out there.
Interesting. That might be a post put up and go, okay, what's the most divisive band you know? You either love them or you hate them. That'd be an interesting thing to put out there and just see what people think. So if you're watching or listening, let us know your thoughts on that one. So what's the most divisive band you know, where people either love it or they fucking won't give it a chance? That's a curious little topic, that one.
No.
But yeah, they'd be up there. Dream Theater would be up there, I reckon. They're a polarizing band, I think is the way to put it. You're either with them or you're against them, that kind of a mentality. Ooh, Sally, okay. Slipknot. Sally says Slipknot. Do we think they're a polarizing band? I think potentially.
I can understand amongst, like, older metalheads.
Yeah. Interesting with the comments with the TV clip show coming up on Saturday night for that one, with the commentary about the young ones stealing the old one stuff. There's some running jokes as a bit of a sneak peek for those out there tuning in to the Halloween special coming up. But yeah, it's an interesting topic, that one. Polarizing or divisive bands. So we should put a post up about that one and see what people do. Oh, here we go. This one's a good one. Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. That's a good one. So there'll be a few out there for this topic. Sorry?
My Chemical Romance.
I'd agree with that as well. I reckon they're polarizing.
I'd say that too.
Conrad's gone. Tool, Megadeth, Mastodon, Manowar. I think out of that,
Tool,
I'd agree
sure.
with Tool, yes. Manowar, yes.
Yeah.
Megadeth and Mastodon, probably not so much. I don't think they're as polarizing a pair of bands. Ooh, Nicole has said Korn. I think they've got more crossover appeal than people give them credit for, but what do you guys think?
Again, amongst that sort of old school.
Yeah.
If you're after old school metal and then these guys with 7-string guitars and 2-note riffs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think over time, Korn won a lot of people over.
Yeah, well, they're good at what they do.
Yeah. I think out of that era,
if you've ever seen Korn live, like at a festival or whatever, they're a really good band.
Yeah. I'd think Limp Bizkit out of that era would be the most polarizing.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, though. I like Limp Bizkit, but I don't think there's anybody going Limp Bizkit is the greatest band in the world.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. That you want the extremes, don't you?
Yeah, like I like Limp Bizkit, but I mean, I'm not gonna. I know their shit.
Yeah.
Granted, if you go into my on repeat list on Spotify, Dad Vibes is on there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Which is cool, whatever, man. We've all had that conversation many a time. Nicole says, I'm a stuck a tad in the 80s. You wouldn't be the only one. So check out Nestor if you like the 80s from earlier on tonight. Yeah, no, we got to find a way to word it. But yeah, the most extreme, where it's either you love them or you can't stand them. It's got to be the extreme devotion or the.
Yeah, we're looking for the Collingwood of bands here.
Yes, that's what it is. That's actually a good way to put it. Or the Manchester United or whatever other thing you can put it as. You're either with them or you're completely against them.
Yeah, we're looking for the Yankees of.
Yeah, of the US. What would be a basketball equivalent, you reckon?
Well, I'd assume it'd be the Lakers.
Yeah, I think Patriots in the NFL.
Or the Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys, another one too, actually. Cowboys have a ridiculously stupid fan base to think they're going to be there every year when they're not.
Yeah, and like Dak Prescott is not the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
That said, he's playing well this year, so credit where due. Yeah. Doing better than my lot at the moment, so my lot are playing like a bag of shit. Got poleaxe today, so that was fucking disappointing this morning. Halloween. Interesting that. I'd say Derris era Halloween, not the Kiski stuff, though.
Yeah, there are people that I've met. It's like, no, Halloween, they're shit. I'm like, well, how the fuck can you say that?
I think it depends on what you think of power. Again, it depends on what you think of power metal.
Yeah. Interesting.
I was like I was thinking Nirvana.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on. It depends on what you think about grunge. If grunge killed rock and roll, you probably hate Nirvana.
Yeah, and there'd be plenty of people who wouldn't give them a chance, and there are plenty of people that fucking love them to death. Yeah. Here's one out of the box. Jimmy's gone Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah,
their fan base love them.
Nah,
that's true.
The fucking juggalos go nuts for those guys. They have a devoted fan base. Devoted.
Did you see one of them tried to drop kick Fred Durst at a festival a few years ago?
Oh, really? As in one of the guys. I saw one of the guys.
Yeah, one of them did a drop kick to Fred Durst, but he did a pro wrestling drop kick and completely missed him.
That's a bit silly.
So you just see him jump up behind, throw the kick, and then just fall to the ground, and then just Fred look down like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
I'm not surprised. I think it's rather stupid, but I'm not surprised. But yeah, fuck me dead. All right, yeah, no, that is a group that. See, I've seen them live, and they're a lot of fun. So I'm not a diehard fan or anything, but I can appreciate them. But that's more because I was just fucking exposed to them over and over again. Thanks, Shane. Way back in the day. David Fowler's gone polarizing QBs in the NFL. Derek Carr, that's a good one. Yeah,
that is a good one.
That's a good one. That's up there. I think Deshaun Watson at the moment be another one. Going on recent matters. Dave sitting there going, I've got no idea what the fuck's going on at this point in time. What was that?
I'm in my happy space.
Yeah. Safe space or happy space? Oh, another one. Interesting. Night Flight Orchestra. Dave, you'd agree with that one?
Yeah.
That's probably a fair one, actually.
Yeah, I'd say it's fair because people that love them. I think Ghost might fall into the category too.
Ghost probably would, yeah.
What about Kiss?
Yeah, definitely Kiss.
Kiss have a devoted as fuck fan base, but people go, no, they're absolute piles of shit too. Like I was in that category for a long time, so yeah, I think Kiss would be in there.
That's fair. Because, I mean, again, their fan base is very much love them as well.
Yeah, they're like silly amounts of devotion, which is that's what you're looking for in this conversation, I think. Ooh, another one. This is cool. Quo. Yeah, I can see that one. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yep. And here's one for you, Dave. Nicole's gone Nightwish. Not as convinced of that one personally. I think they got enough crossover. Yeah, don't know. I don't know anyone that hates them. That's the thing. You want someone that you want that real visceral, either you love or you hate kind of thing. I don't think they quite fit that mold. Same here. Conrad's gone Volbeat. I don't think Volbeat quite fit, but they got a diehard fan base, but no one really hates them either. I don't think, and that's a thing for mine there. What was that?
Poison.
Yeah, Poison would be one. Probably a lot of that era, actually, when you get down there. Warren,
I was going to say Warren for sure.
Yeah.
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue, definitely.
Yeah.
Motley Crue, even amongst us, has been divisive as all shit. Sally says yes to Ghost. Here's another one. Jimmy asked the question of Rammstein.
Oh, who doesn't like Rammstein?
Who doesn't like pyro? Like, who doesn't like fire? Like, that's
pyro and dick jokes.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know anyone that hates them. Yeah, I think Ministry would be more inclined to get the hate in that world, or maybe even Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, possibly.
Nine Inch Nails for sure.
Nine Inch Nails is a divisive band. Same with Manson, I'd say.
What's that? Black Veil Brides?
Black Veil
Brides, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be one for sure. There'd be a few of those. So, yeah. Sorry?
Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Chili Peppers is a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say yes to that, because their fan base love them, and I sit there and go, I don't get it. I think they've done some good stuff, but this is interesting in the context of the last album. Arctic Monkeys from Basher has said Arctic Monkeys. In the context of the last album, that's an interesting one, because the last album was absolutely shit, whereas Brendan in particular liked the ones before that one. So
I loved the ones before that as well.
Yeah.
Seen it 3 times.
But the last album was Pox, wasn't it?
Last album sucked dick.
Yep. Here's one that's, I think, definitely true, actually. Winger. Sumila says Winger was unfairly divisive for a while in the 90s. So, yeah, I'll pay that one. I think people have gotten over it a little bit now, but they were the hated ones for the rock and metal world for a while.
Yeah, that was Lars Ulrich throwing darts at him in that video clip.
Yeah, that's right. It was too. So yeah, I'd say that'd be Kip Winger copped it unnecessarily, unfortunately. But yeah, that'd be one there as well. Sally's gone, yes, the Sparkle Metal. I hate the Crew, Poison, and Warrant. Just nope. So there we go. There's some people that really can't stand that stuff. 36 Crazy Fists. There's an interesting one.
36 Crazy Fists have one great song.
I think Death Punch.
Yeah,
I think Death Punch for sure.
Yeah, they are a divisive band. I would say they are polarizing. You either love
them. The Nickelback of metal.
Yeah, definitely. Nicole's laughing at the Sparkle Metal comment there. I think that there's a lot when you start digging into it. That's an interesting topic, isn't it? A lot of bands mentioned there. Oh, keep them coming, folks. Let us know. But I think we'll start to migrate our way progressively out the door as we get onto things. So I'll do the usual plugs. We'll do a bin, and we'll see what happens between now and then in the comments. Before we do that, Nicole's gone in love half a 5 finger and hate the other half. So there we go. Jimmy's gone. I'm polarized out. Good night, chaps. Thanks for jumping in. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show tonight with us here. We are going to start wrapping things up here. So I'm going to put a link into the comments now for our THRS Hot Rockin' playlist on Spotify. If you're on Spotify, please follow this one or like it, whatever it is on Spotify that you do. Trying to get some more listeners on that one. We rotate that one through every week. I think most songs last on that a maximum of 5 days because we cap it at 50 tracks. And because of what I'm doing for the Patreon crowd, we get about 50 tracks a week. So it's usually every day there's close to 10 tracks being swapped in and out of that one. So follow that one for all sorts of new music you won't see or hear about any other way. So follow that playlist on Spotify. And while I'm mentioning this sort of stuff, check out our Patreon page too. The link is in the description. We're pushing this one soon, but the main one right now is the gold coin aspect, or the swear jar, swear box, whatever we've got. For $2 a month, you'll get daily updates of all the shit that comes through the inbox that we've got at the Hard Rock Show here, and you'll get all sorts of music you wouldn't hear about any other way. And like I said, there's about 50 new pieces of music or references to albums and stuff. Anyway, so yeah, check it out. And if you want to give us some support, there's other tiers to look at, but that's the one to be the most, bang for buck in a lot of ways there as well. So check it out. Give us some help if you'd be so kind. Dean says he's liked the playlist, so thank you for doing that. There's a lot of cool music on that, and you're on the Patreon page anyway, so you get all the info regardless. But yeah, thank you for that too. And while we're speaking about Patreon, a big shout out to some supporters of ours. So Tim Caterson, who was here earlier tonight, TC, you saw him, but also Lee McDonald, Sonia Donabella, 16 by 9, Beck Mitchell, Caroline Mallet, Jason Winch, Marty Powell, Sam Biondo, Trash Vegas, Andrew Heyman, Brendan, who's one of our crew here as well, Daniel Bateman, Gwyneth Richards, and the Mann family. Thank you so much for your support. A big shout out to you guys for helping us this month too. Don't forget to check us out on television, 10:30 p.m. Saturday nights on Channel 31 in Melbourne, and 10 p.m. Thursday nights local time in Adelaide on Channel 44. That's where we're on every single week. We've got different formats now for the streaming side and for the TV side. They're two separate things, so check us out on telly. And Channel 31 should have their live stream back up and running pretty soon. The move is almost complete in that regard, so please do check out that stuff as well. That means you'll be able to watch it wherever you are in the world. Next special at the end of this month is Halloween, which for this month is themed around Slipknot. We'll have a different version of the TV special, and then we'll be filming the online version of this one very, very soon now, because we're going to do it basically on Halloween Eve to get it done. So give us a bit of time to edit that one up. And after that, we've got Motley Crue in November. So Sally, look away. You won't like that one. And Christmas is after that, which is going to be fucking just stupid series. So there'll be a lot of streams and a lot of stuff going on in the Christmas period, because we've been doing a lot of chatting behind the scenes on that one, which I've got to go ahead and lock down all that as well. And on Thursday, our next stream is the Sonic Overlords, Every Time I Die, and Mortal Sin is the classic review on that one. So that's another stream coming up on Thursday night. Join us then at about 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for that one. Otherwise, tune in whenever you can later on as well. And that brings us, I think that's like I was saying, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the usual shit that everyone says. Do that. Our details to follow us on whatever you want to do, so whatever platform you choose are in the description or the post of this one. And while you're there, please check out our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Old Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Thank you so much for your support. Their details, just like ours, are in the post or the description, so please find them, give them a follow as well. Just show them a little bit of love for the help they give us here at the show. Got some more comments coming through, which is very, very cool. Thank you for joining us on this one tonight. Conrad says, I loathe the entire new metal movement. Korn, Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, Cold Chamber, etc. And Sepultura's Roots album is bloody awful. Ooh, man.
Yeah, Roots is just the first Soulfly album.
Yeah, true. But I like Soulfly, so it worked for me. But
I feel like
what was that, Dave?
like a good room.
We got the audio back right in time. That's cool. Yeah. Andrew said, a lot of people have narrow views of bands. On the way home from Metallica gig, my 13-year-old son, we overheard two guys debating whether you could like Metallica and AC/DC. So that's just not even that's a non-starter, really, isn't it? That's a silly one. Okay, I wouldn't even thought you'd start that one. Sally, when I mentioned Motley Crue, had a chuckle with it. Lee says, thank you, boys, and thanks for your support too, mate. Really appreciate it. So you're one of our Patreon supporters as well. Basher has got another enjoyable show. Love the live album lists and reviews. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for the feedback. Loved it. And Nicole says, okay, I set alarm for 7:30 p.m. instead of 8:30 p.m. Okay, and hopefully we won't hopefully we'll make it worthwhile to get up that little bit earlier, I guess. But she's gone, thanks.
Time difference.
Yeah, time differences.
Daylight savings times.
Yeah. Now Australia goes into this weird fucking thing where we had 3 time zones. After this, we got about 5, I think. So it's a bit of nonsense, but because Queensland don't have daylight savings. I think Northern Territory don't, but South Australia do, and Western Australia is just Western Australia. So I don't know what the fuck's going on. But yeah. We're a strange country in a lot of ways, but that's just how we are down here, down under. But yeah, thank you everyone for. Oh, okay, sorry. Nicole's gone. No late sunlight after 6 p.m. up here. Where are you, Nicole? You must be obviously in Queensland, from what I'm gathering in that one. Yeah, and the Queensland weather when you're up there and it does get dark nice and early. I find myself going to sleep a lot earlier in Queensland than I do in Melbourne. I don't know about you two, but that's me.
Yeah, the thing that I found strange in Queensland is how early everybody is awake.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you get up, you take a piss at 5 a.m. and there's people running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever we go up to Gympie, because the family are up there, we always, my brother and sister-in-law are up there. We always go to bed like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Or I'm usually up till 12, 1, and then I'm awake at like 4, 5. It's just it's different. It's just something in the night air up there. You just got to sleep a lot earlier and get up nice and early. But yeah, Nicole's confirmed Queensland. She's also said I don't do mornings, so there you go. Here's the thing for you: from down here and from being a southerner and from being half English, I don't do fucking humidity. Cannot fucking cope. So you can enjoy that one. I can't cope, but that's me. All right. That's the ring we're all done. Let's get to the bin. Let's have some fun to wrap things up tonight one more time. So let's go to you first, Dave. What are you putting in the bin tonight?
The weather. It's fucking freezing at the here, and I'm fucking shivering. So come on, bring on the summer nights for late night drinks and barbecues and all the things I love. But right now, God, it's cold. In the bin.
Dude, come over and I'll give you a fucking one of the old heaters from the studio and you can have it there outside with you.
Put it on.
Yeah.
Be prepared for everything. I want to get those big like pyro flame things that people have in their. That'll be really good.
Whenever you give it a 10, you can give it a pump. Probably burn the house down, but yeah.
Hey, the amount of things I've done on camera for this show, I've burned the house down.
It'll be a landmark moment. No one's done that before, so it'll be something we haven't done yet. We've done some dumb shit with fire before, so you know.
What's one more?
Well, exactly right. Just don't ask me for the public liability because I haven't got it. Anyway, Tim, what about you?
Look, to be honest, I really don't have a pen.
Okay, you're a happy man this weekend, aren't you?
I'm in a fucking great mood this weekend.
Yeah.
And nothing has pissed me off. Everyone's been in a great mood. It's been good to travel around. No one's been giving bar staff a hard time because they're just doing their jobs.
Good.
Making sure people are checking in and all that. Which I mean is just to keep people safe anyway. So great and good.
Yep. And
if anything about this sucks is that I am fucking exhausted right now.
Sorry.
But apart from that, I mean, yeah, it was good to recharge the batteries and actually see everybody out and about having a good time with a smile on their face and without the care in the world. Which I don't know, like, you know, especially with the past year or so, I think we can. Sometimes we think the world is worse than what it actually is.
Yeah.
And for the most part, most people are pretty good.
Yeah. Cool. Mine, because I've tried to keep the bins mundane these days, and this is really mundane. It's when your lawnmower breaks down completely when you're halfway through on your fucking front lawn. that can go in the fucking bin. That happened on the weekend because we're getting the front yard ready for Halloween, which means we had some good weather, had a few days there so we could actually go and mow the lawn. And I've been jury-rigging this thing for a while. It was due to go, but it went halfway through the fucking, and it's like, fuck off.
So you got literally half mowed lawn.
Yes. So we've been able to fix it. Yeah, we got the whippersnipper out and did it the hard way, so we finished it off, but fucking painful when you do it that way. So when the lawnmower breaks down halfway through mowing your front lawn, back lawn I wouldn't give a fuck about. Dog shitting anyway, I don't give a crap. But the front lawn's the bad one. And like I said, when you're trying to prep for Halloween decorations, we've got all our decorations now. I'm like really stoked about it. I'll send you guys some photos too. But yeah, we're fucking wrapped with what's going to come up, and it's like, okay, you set it all up to make the plans, and it's like, oh fuck. So yeah, should be able to have it done like next Saturday. Before we do the Halloween filming, I'll go and finish it off and get it all set up properly. But yeah, that's just annoying as fuck when that happens. Like I said, I knew it was coming, just not then. And it was like the shortest thing because it takes like half an hour tops to mow that area, and it just cracked out halfway through. I was like, fuck. So that can go in the bin. It's just very, very inconvenient. But yeah, there we go. Mundane as fuck, but that is the world for me. That is the height of my concerns these days. So it's, not a bad life overall, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, so Andrew said before, closer to the equator, less variation in the length of days, which is where it comes down to the daylight and stuff up there. Nicole says, ex-Victorian, only been here 4 years. Okay, well, let us know how you're adapting to that because, I can't do the humidity up there. But she also said 35 degrees up there today, which is much warmer than down here. Down here, it was like 15 or something today. I don't know what it was. And Sally said, I thought you needed a hoodie at the start, Dave. You don't do the cold. Well, this is true. Dave struggles with the cold.
I had to wear the t-shirt. So.
Yeah. But that'll do us tonight. I think that's all of us done. Anything else you guys want to add up before we get out of this one, or are we all good to go?
I think I've
Looking forward to Thursday.
Sorry?
There you
go. No, I'm done.
You done?
Oh, was it?
What'd you say?
I can't remember. I'm done.
This is going well. What were you going to say, Tim? Something about Thursday?
I'm looking forward to Thursday.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time I die in Mortal Sin, there's a good combo.
Yeah, you're going to be very happy with that one, I reckon. So we'll have some fun with that. And the other band, we've got to say thanks to Lee McDonald for pointing that band out to us as well with the Sonic Overlords. That's a request from him. So we'll go back to that one soon. But Nicole said here, never going back to Victoria. It's too bloody cold down there. So there you go. Some people, I love the cold personally. I like it colder than hot. It's easier to warm up than it is to cool down. I've always had that thought. That's me. All right. But that's it for us. Thank you all so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live with us tonight and getting involved, or if you're tuning in later on, or whatever you're doing, give us your thoughts, share it all around, and hopefully you've enjoyed the show. But yeah, thank you all so much for spending some time with us. Hopefully we gave you a bit of fun tonight, and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Until next time, though, I'm Andrew.
Tim.
I'm Dave.
As always,
drink up
and rock on.
More flanger.